Yo, 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 yo. All right. So, all right. So, I'm low key today. I'm gonna probably be reacting to some of the, the pro league
Twisted
stuff. 'Cause I kind of been watching it. I've been wanting to watch it. So,
Minds power you up.
Bad, but they're not the
so
only team that's going to be fighting for their lives. Over on the B stream, while we get ready for our next matchup here.
one night play. But I've been low key. I've been low key watching this, and it's actually been intense. And I low key want to see because if they win, I might go to the major. I might go to the major. So yeah, I'm really hoping that Sport wins, low key. I can't really talk still. Um, talk better, but um, still hurts. Still hurts. So I kind of wanna chill on that. Um, yeah. And so I'm really hoping that I can. I really like watching this because I've been low key having fun watching some of the pro league stuff. And then, I don't know what to play. I do want to play some bully. I want to see what that was. I I got it. Heard it was fun. I don't know though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play some bully. I'm gonna download it right now because I heard it was good and low key want to see what it is. Never played it, so remember watching it like as like a kid, but I've never ever played that. I was gonna say uh, like these were my predictions, bro. Like, these are my predictions for the thing. Like, I just went off like I don't like just some TikTok stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not really much of like look. I just barely started watching it. For my plans, I just chose random ones. I don't even know who to choose. But I got two right. I got two Copper Alpha packs, and then for like the other teams, I know that G2 just barely qualified. I don't know who else qualified, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's Void's team.
Earlier this season, up against
Let's see.
for Virtus Pro. I touched on it a couple times in that last game, but he had far and away the highest shield percentage pick rate coming through at this event. Canadian, still 49% attacking rounds being played on one of our 3 primary shields. So expect that to come out depending on the site on Cafe, but for now, not going to be selected. We start on Reading Room as well. A bit of an odd site choice to see coming out. The top floor is always a point of contention coming through with Cafe, just because the top floor can be quite popular, but also quite unsuccessful for some of these teams. The win rate has really fallen off over the last couple of years, and we've seen both Kitchen and the mid-floor sites find a lot more presence because of it. I love this Denari setup too, coming through from Bappin. You just see this maze inside of Bar, making it nearly impossible for the attackers to make their way in, whether it's through the skylight, whether it's in through the cigar drop. They will have multiple ways in, but none of them will be easy with these Denari setups as Enterprise begin this first defense and SR
a good team, though.
take the stage.
No. I thought they won.
What'd I miss?
Nothing at all. Parker, just some op bands.
Oh, your favorite part of the broadcast.
Truly, and I got to yap my heart out.
I like these commentators.
So
Actually, really
missed it.
funny.
I like the Thorn shotgun being brought. We have been seeing an incredible rise
If
of this
they
Irish
win,
operator.
I'm actually
but
going
so
to
seldom
leave.
do we see the M870 unless you are
Going
going to
the
be
first day
playing
'cause
a
I'm broke.
very tight angle, and I imagine that will be the play here for Enterprise as they use intel from the mirror windows, from the cams, and of course from the
doing
Pulse
a
to give
quick push.
information. The Pulse also running a shotgun because of the Reaper MK2.
Nice surf.
Well,
I fear I spoke too soon about the Pulse. There
Bro,
goes
I'm
Tuhan.
not
There
gonna
goes
lie, bro.
Cairo.
Ambi's low
A
key
great
good.
entry for Rebellion.
Ambi
Canadian loses
has
his
been
head to the
always
M870.
flicking and
Down
just
goes
getting
Jigsaw.
everyone, bro.
Rebellion in full control with a
Ambi's
minute and 40 to go.
So
yeah, absolutely.
fire.
Feeling very
Yo, they
confident. He was
locked in.
just Bappin alone now in the 1v4. He will get Rex in to make
like,
it just the 1v3.
30
but
seconds? They
still
already
90
killed everyone?
seconds to go in this half. SR have so much
locked in,
time to
bro.
work with, and as the phone call rings,
That guy's
the position
cooked.
will
He's
begin to
offside.
get... No!
Oh,
Get
yeah,
on the
he's
cam.
Well, it didn't matter. It would have been our second nade kill in about 30
Yo,
minutes, though, Parker. That
They
would have been
instantly
insane.
killed.
For there to be two
Yo.
of them would be quite odd.
Yeah,
Dude,
one is
Ambi's
something,
so
but
goated, bro.
not quite the final blow there in round number 1. SR clean on that top floor take. It was really a nice setup. We saw the Denari, we saw the Thorn, the Pulse, but SR were able to find
Ambi's
really good ways
insane.
into the building. They started off strong with some nice
You
opening
saw
frags,
like
and it really
last
did just
day,
spiral from
yesterday,
there.
bro. He flicked on 2
I mean,
people
Shopify
and
Rebellion have
he's,
settled in quite nicely here, making small
insane.
changes to the way that they deploy their players. I saw some actual conversation about it on both Twitter and Reddit. Yes, I do sometimes visit those websites, even though it is probably ill-advised for my mental health. But there were some really good points that were made about how Spoit, and this is
agree,
something
bro.
we've also mentioned on broadcast, Spoit is seeing harder opponents and is actually doing quite well in
Yeah,
this
he's doing way
deployment.
better now.
On
Loki's been
particular
locked
maps and on
in,
particular
chat.
sides, both Rexon and Surf are being given safer assignments and taking up those pseudo-support style of plays that Spoit had originally played. A good example of that, Spoit played an awful lot of Nomad across a wide variety of maps, but he's been playing more Deimos recently, he's been playing more Dokkaebi recently. Here we have him on Ace.
I
And
haven't
while
checked
you're
him on
accustomed to
these, bro. I
seeing
literally
Heart
have-
Breachers be more support ops, Ace is more of a fragging op than you'd think. So Spoit is still in a very strong position to get some kills here. As you can see, it was almost a team ace Canadian, as is tradition, will not start off with a kill. It will probably take him some time to be involved in the cut and thrust. But
I thought,
ultimately,
like, is
Rebellion
Canadian
don't
good?
need him
Like,
to
I
do
heard that he
lot
was
of
a really
heavy
good player,
lifting.
but like,
And of course, in that
he hasn't
previous
been getting
round,
kills.
he was
Obviously,
perfectly
he's
on
just
display.
supporting.
Wow, we get a little bit of a
he's just
roam
been
clear
dying
starting off
off the
here
rip,
from
I feel like.
SR. They found the
Oh,
one
shit.
player over towards red stairs, so they've got a bit of information to work with. This is not going to be a full top-down clear, Parker. A lot of it is starting horizontal on this bake side of things. Good smoke to try to get the Selma off in towards Bakery, but I think Brenda was able to spot that out and shoot the Selma off. More Selmas will come through. This is just going to deny that position, and no, in fact, it just gets opened up the first time, so they don't have to worry as much about this Bakery position any longer. Jigsaw has to back up. Tuhan has to pack up, and a lot of these players that wanted to be aggressive inside Bakery just can't do it anymore thanks to that one Selma thrown off by Spoit.
Well, air jab is going to prevent them from rotating into Bakery. That will obviously be an issue that has to be dealt with here
Spoil's
by
been
these
locked in.
defenders.
After the first day, though, like they
As
almost
Clash will
like,
pick up her shield yet
sold.
again, and Tuan will scoot ever
They
so
locked
far back into the
in,
site.
bro.
Selma's
They
going
locked
off to give
in.
more
They almost
opportunities
V-phase, bro.
for fragging and tomfoolery on the side of Rebellion as they set up, looking
almost
for a
V-phase,
direct
but
hit on
then
the
they lost.
Bakery with some over clear at the moment. Jigsaw gets punished.
They would have.
It sounds like it was Rexon to get that kill, but it's always hard to tell.
I'm telling
He'll
you,
get
bro, they
finished
can
off.
beat phase.
Rexon indeed
They can
credited
win.
with the
They
kill, so
can
he got the
trust
down,
me.
and he will inch up
Trust
to
me,
the
I know when they
A-bomb
can
door.
win.
Still top
Even
4
though they're
control
not
for
the
this Rebellion
most
squad, but
respected team,
Enterprise
bro, they
is
can
starting
win
to
it.
assemble their own
Trust,
forces
bro.
up there.
Yeah, what is this retake of
see that
mid-floor,
they
Parker?
wanna
I don't know if
win.
we see this very often. They're just swarming Ambi, thinking it's just
Good
a
aim.
up above, but he hits
Oh
the
my
shots.
God, Ambi.
Cairo goes down, and another gunfight
Oh,
the whole
I'm
time.
telling you,
Canadians planting
Ambi's
too.
so good.
It's all up to Babin,
Oh.
who's also back
Somebody
up there.
support him,
Diffuse
bro.
kit goes down. He'll get
Why is it
Tuhan
nobody
back
okay,
from the dead.
Did it defuse, did it defuse, good.
These two remaining players will need to work together
Good.
against
Now they
this
just hold.
Rebellion
They just
squad. Canadian successful with the objective.
And he
Spoit and
has
Rexon
no
will
fire,
cover
but he
the
has smoke.
staircases. Canadian involved in this post plan as well. He's
Smoke
still
it off.
alive.
Okay.
He's got one smoke canister in pocket. He can use it to potentially funnel these defenders into their waiting arms. But with the clock being what it is, Jesse, I
Yeah.
don't think that will be
Okay.
the case. Tuhan and Babbitt now working their way
Okay, just
through
hold,
the
wait
peripheries of the
till
bomb
you-
site. Not really finding that much. There's Canadian
Yes,
on the
good
board
aim.
for one.
Oh,
Babbitt
okay,
with a
that's
delayed
fine.
reaction. He
Good.
gets Spoit.
Let's go.
Rexon finds a kill
go.
again. And it's a 2-0 start for the North American squad.
Some laughter, I think, after that round from Shopify Rebellion, Parker. And it comes back to the fact that that's just one of the most ridiculous cafe bottom floor defenses I've ever seen out of Enterprise. At around the 90-second mark, they send 3 different bodies to retake that mid floor. And I see the logic in it too, right? Shopify Rebellion were not full clearing top. Usually on that site, you'll see a full top control, and you'll see maybe 5 bodies up on that second floor. But they had just put Ambi up there. Shopify Rebellion were kind of trying to shortcut things. Because they knew there wasn't a roam game, they said, we'll just send in Ambi on the sledge, we'll send everybody else in through Bakery, and we'll get all that space for free without having to dedicate a bunch of bodies, and then we can just push in through the site. So Enterprise tried to punish it. They tried to retake up above. They sent their players forward. 2 big problems, though. Number 1, Ambi is ridiculous, and he gets 2 kills
Dude,
despite
Ambi's just
being
insane,
all
bro.
alone inside of mining. And
I don't
number
know how
2
he-
is
bro.
SR Reddit. They spotted
His-
the gap. Canadian
his
was able
settings
to
are
get in and
insane,
start a
bro.
plant
Like,
as all of the defenders just vacated the bomb site. So maybe a little bit
Risk,
predictable on the
amazing.
side of Enterprise. Maybe just a little bit too much information flowing for the side of SR. And despite the fact that this is EP's pick, they're off to a horrendous
Risk is
start versus
literally
the
the
North
best
Americans.
ST, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care.
I know that there was a lot of chatter about the potential
I wish
for
I'd
this
gone the
Enterprise
Invincible
squad,
burst.
and I think for good reason, but
Cool.
they have really faltered when the bright lights have been on them. And a lot of teams do suffer
it?
through that. Some players suffer
That
through
shit's
that.
not
We
getting
just saw G2 play, and we've said this about Shaiko when he's been on
lucky,
squads in the
okay.
past. It is not a unique phenomenon to any particular team. So you do need to keep an eye on, okay, are you running up the score against Phase 1 teams? How are you actually doing against the teams that top their
Wait,
regions?
I saw FaZe lost. I haven't seen
OS
that
is
match.
geographically isolated. Australia
watching
does
it, bro, but
struggle
I
to
fell
play
asleep
up
for
against
too long.
tougher opposition because all of APAC is a bit of a
those
step behind at the moment from
were-
the rest of the regions, but OS
Wizard
tends to
T.
be a little bit behind that as well.
I was watching
And
it,
unless
though.
they're
I was watching the
consistently
G2.
coming to
I
LAN
was gonna watch
events,
the
they
FaZe,
really
but
struggle to
I
get
wasn't
that
able to.
international series under their belt and the experience that comes with it. And the Rebellion are just progressively getting better the deeper into this tourney they go.
Oh
Jigsaw
my
dies.
God, bro,
oh
they're
my
locked
goodness.
in.
Surf will have time for the reload, maybe a little bit of
Yo, he's
fun as
teabagged
Brendo
you,
goes
yo.
down, and it's another terrific
they're
entry for the
destroying
Rebellion,
them.
as now Canadians involved as well.
Oh my god.
A minute 50 on
Yo,
the
it's so
clock, and
over
it's just
for them.
Tuhan in a 1v5.
Oh yeah.
He does deny a flawless round. Jesse,
wait.
will he get more than that?
That's
Survey says no. 3-0 the start here for the
destroying them.
Rebellion.
Immediately attack timeout requested by Mag, and I think it
heard me or
couldn't have come sooner. This has been a disaster. Enterprise throughout this event have impressed. They've been crushing some top-level opponents. Every time they've gone up against a Brazilian team, they've shown some really good crit. They've been able to get some huge wins under their belts, but today, it just feels like a different story. Enterprise have not loaded into this lobby, and Mag will need to put the brakes on this momentum as soon as possible because he knows what it takes. He knows what this can turn into if they don't check it early. Just so quickly, Shopify Rebellion are finding gaps. They're finding ways to move in. And it's not like SR are going for these like really complicated full 5-man stacks. A lot of it is individuals seeing opportunities and choosing to take those moments when they see them. You saw it from Surf in that previous round on the Snake in particular, right? Finds an angle just in through the pillar door. It's not being watched. There's a bit of a gap here on the Enterprise setup. Both in rounds 1 and 3 now. They've had quite roam-heavy setups where they're trying to extend throughout the map quite a bit, and it's just opened themselves up to get punished a little bit because there are those gaps that exist. Shopify Rebellion have been excellent in exploiting that. The Snake will get banned out. That will help, but there will need to be a lot more done on the side of VP.
Yeah, I mean, this entry has been with so much confidence, so much gusto, so much moxie, Surf in particular, as he started things off in round 1, got the opening pick in round 3, and he is not slowing down whatsoever. It's obviously concerning when you have to call a timeout so soon. And it doesn't always mean you're going to be able to fix it. Again, not wanting to read too much into the narrative aspect here, but did you see the body language of Enterprise? Jigsaw in particular looked like he was ready to go home during that timeout. And obviously, things can change very quickly. You can win a couple rounds, get your confidence back, everything is okay, hunky-dory, you're all good.
Yeah.
But there's been very little for me to look at with this Enterprise team and think, yeah, they'll be able to change the winds the way they're blowing right now.
It's going to need to be a response at some point, and it's got to come sooner rather than later. Again, this is Enterprise's map pick. Shopify Rebellion chose to start on the attack. You might get a little bit caught off guard by that. It's kind of weird to choose to start on the offensive side, but clearly SR have felt that there was a weakness here on the defense. I don't know why they're feeling that. Frankly, Enterprise have been the single best defense team at the major so far, but whatever caused them to make this call is clearly correct because Enterprise's defenses have been looking horrible through this first quarter.
Back with the quarters.
What do you want me to call it? 2/8?
Yeah, it could be fun.
They're playing
1/6 of the way through.
Sure. Yeah.
Really putting that math degree to good use.
Thank you.
Not a lot of mesology to talk about over the over the course of these 3 rounds.
All of Enterprise seem like they're taking a class in mesology right now, frankly, but
it's a little mean. It's kind of mean-spirited.
I want to see them bounce back, Parker. They've been so good so far here at the Salt Lake City Major, but it just feels like a different team that's shown up.
Minor setback for a major comeback, Jesse. That's
they locked in, bro. After they make fun of the
I mean, bad in the mid-round, bad in the entry, etc. This is reminiscent of the match that just preceded this, which was the G2 VP game.
And it had
VP screamed off
probably
the
like made him mad, so bro, he told
quote-unquote bad
locked in or
side,
something, bro.
and look what ended up happening. Obviously, no spoilers, but let's just say that recoveries are very much possible. So, Enterprise, how do you deal with this now? Logic bombs will go off as you see the shield over by top of red stairs. Bappin rebuffing the Monty for a period of time. Caught on the windows by Rexon.
Nice.
A very tough spot for Bappin to be in, especially unsupported.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? All by himself. It's a really nice coordinated clear from SR. We're talking a lot about Enterprise, but I think the Rebellion have played so incredibly this game as well. The team play is there when it needs to be. Sometimes it's been opportunity seeking from guys like Surf, but other times it's been just behind this Monty like we're seeing in round 4. It's been these players pushing together to clear their own game. There are still a couple players here on the top floor. It's really just Cairo who's sitting upstairs inside of Cocktail. He's got the pulse below. Brendo finds Ambi. That's a good answer back. And it's another one from Jigsaw. So this is starting to turn for Enterprise.
Honestly, confidence plays a huge factor here. And for guys like Brendo and Jigsaw who are able to carry more than their own weight and have consistently done so through this event, having them be mentally positive is huge. That was Brendo's first kill. It was Jigsaw's second, so there's time for these guys to get on the board.
Oh, he doesn't know.
Once again, talking about impactless kills, confidence 4, but most of them not really turning the fortunes of the round. Down goes Cairo in the hands of Spoit. He'd flushed Cairo out of that position with a nade and then had the F90 do the rest of the job. That's a great gun, shackled to Gridlock, so we don't see it all that often, but she's a terrific operator here on this map. And Spoit shows what he can do from a fragging potential. Rexon goes to the Nitro cell from 2on down below. Canadian will have to rely on Spoit as his only coverage.
Bro, he missed.
Spoit a bit of a messy set of engagements there. Canadian takes one down, traded right back, and Spoit will need to clutch up.
You know where he's at. Nice.
For Enterprise, but it might all be for naught.
You know where the other one's at.
Spoit with very limited time, Jesse. Brendo just needs to play keep away. Spoit will find himself in an unfortunate position. Out of time. Not getting the final kill is fine for Enterprise. They will play off the clock, and that's a big win for OS's best hope.
All right, they've managed to pull things back after the tack timeout from Meg. That was such a critical round to halt the momentum, but still not a bad round from Shopify Rebellion and Parker. I mean, they still had some really nice coordination cleaning up those players. It was the mid-round where we started to see Enterprise strike back with some critical frags. That really is what turned the tide. And then even then, it gets so close. You start to look back at some of those kills. If Spoit's able to get that frag through the vert, if he's able to miss that or not miss that player through the floorboards, we could be looking at a 4-0 for Shopify Rebellion, but it's good enough here on the top floor from Enterprise. It's still really nice to be able to hit some of those shots, and you said it. Guys like Jigsaw can carry more than their own weight. They can be so incredibly good in the right moments when they're confident with their own abilities, and we need some more of that coming through from Enterprise. You have strong individuals. You have really good moments as a team as well, but if you can put those pieces together, if you can combine the strong individuals inside of Enterprise with good team play, then this map is still far from over.
Jesse,
yes.
The other day you said there's two halves to Siege.
There sure are.
Sometimes in 7-0s you barely have a second half.
True.
But that's not the case right here, right now.
Whatever she's called, I don't know her name.
Close round for
and then
so maybe a bit too close for comfort here. Rebellion still, I think, have the distinct edge on this half of the map.
Yeah.
Which, granted, we say this every time this unfolds in front of our eyes. This is Enterprise's map. They should lose the first half. That is typically how things work. But by how much you lose and the way in which you lose, those tell a very different story. Not all 4-2 first halves are the same. And right now, Rebellion looks so dominant.
For them. They still might not lose this first half. We got to say as well, this could still go 3-3. Shopify Rebellion have gone for a very cool strat here. They've got Ambi in on the Nook, and that means that this camera being played by Tuhon is not going to spot him out. As long as Ambi isn't shooting or sprinting, then this is going to be completely unknown. Tuhon, I don't think, is looking that direction anyways on the Echo cam, but Ambi has a good opportunity here. Now, I will say, there's a barricade that is currently blocking his progress towards the site, so that's not going to be a factor, but there it is. Finds the head of Jigsaw, and the best player on Enterprise has just
How do they know where they're at?
5 rounds, 5 first bloods for Rebellion. Enterprise are not doing as well on this roam, whether it be unsupported, whether it be a time waster, whether it be drone wastage, any of those things. This is really not great for Enterprise, and I'm looking for opportunities to praise them here, Jesse.
Cairo is still playing above, so this is top floor control from EP. You've got to keep that in the back of your mind if you're SR. Could walk down those brown stairs, could try to play around the kitchen hatch if it's open as well, but Tuhon feels like that's not going to be enough. That's why he's starting to get a little bit more aggressive here with the Echo. Not a top-down take from SR, again to focus on Bake.
I really do like the amount of shotguns being brought by Enterprise. This is to counter the aggression for Rebellion, knowing that these are going to be close quarters engagements. But the problem is that they're not getting close enough to you for that to matter. And time again, Enterprise have to pull out those secondary weapons to make some noise. Brendo takes care of Canadian. That's actually a huge get here.
Top
down goes the Sens. Ambi and Surf will join shortly thereafter. So this mid-round from Enterprise was mighty good in the previous round. Those same players, that same gusto is shown up here as Tuhon exploits them, finds the backstab, grabs 2, and Enterprise have suddenly narrowed this gap to putting the first half within reach.
The Kiwi comes alive in round 4 again, Parker. This map far from over. The timeout from Meg clearly paying dividends for this APAC team up against the favorites from North America. Really nice defense coming through once again. Shopify Rebellion, they changed their attack. Don't get me wrong. It was not the exact same look we saw back in round 2, but it was a similar style. They're still going horizontal. They're still just trying to take that control around the site rather than getting up above it. And there's a reason why that push is not so popular these days. It's because you really have to be able to win your fights when you're taking this space. It was a good kill from Ambi to start this round off, but then Tuhon inside of Kochek was just able to make some really nice moves. Canadian went down early on the Sens around that front door in Small Bake area. A couple players went down with them, and Tuhon absolutely did his best. 6 and 4 now. With a
ending
victory
final.
here today, he would be the
Insane.
first New Zealand-based player in history
Insane.
to play in front of a crowd at an official Ubisoft-sponsored event. S-tier event.
Instead, y'all fix
First
your,
host team to make
your-
main
your
stage
anti-cheat,
in
bro.
6 years.
Good lord.
Good lord.
Of course, we
10
have
years
Turtz
and
that
y'all
has
gotta
done some
damn
great
fix it.
things for New Zealand as well, and has made
Anti-cheat,
main
bro.
stage at EWC, but not quite the same as the Major Parker. I think most would agree to that.
Turdster right now and his team fighting for their lives on the B stream as Los is going up against Weibo Gaming. We still got a couple teams from the CNL and APAC from that side of the world competing. Obviously, you've got Enterprise here. All Gamers will be in action later today over on the B stream as well.
Who's gonna win?
And then you've got Weibo Gaming playing right now. So this isn't really quite your forte. Not that we want to shove you into the open
I know
arms
it's
of
pretty
Ace
even
and Dez because
they're
they're
really good on
British and we know.
defense and they kind of.
As Canadians, we get to joke about the Commonwealth all the
Vampire
time.
Villains kinda-
But if you do want to see what's going
Yeah,
on in
yeah,
Los and
and
Weibo, they are still
attack.
in action. That has been a very
And just
long
rushing for no
3-map
reason.
series. I don't know what's going on in map
Gotta go
number
from
3, and
top
of
to
course, we don't
bottom.
want to spoil anything ahead of time. But I'm sure it's been an electric affair, just simply because we had our own best of 3, and it's already over, and we've moved on to our second series.
Since banning the Snake, SR have not been able to find the same opportunities, and once more, Jigsaw will be able to get that first frag onto Canadian, actually playing down below the bomb site.
So I always
will
need some
take
attack,
down the
bro. He
shield as
gets, like,
Canadian tries to
killed
enter
instantly.
in through the building. Logic bombs come out, but
No
that just
way.
prompts a jump.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Sure, it's
okay,
traded with
good
the
trade.
Claymore, but that's huge
trade.
value from the Oryx.
That's massive. Logic bombs go off. Deimos tracks as well. A bevy of
Fine.
information for Rebellion still at
He's
their
in that closet.
disposal.
Nice.
Down
Oh,
goes
bro, how
Ambi.
did I get
Surf will
him?
now try his luck as he's got a cross.
Dude, that sucks.
Walls blowing up in front of his very eyes. Bappin with 2 kills. There goes Rexon.
he doing?
Enterprise stitching
Why can't we
3
attack?
together. They will survive the first half at the same score line as the Rebellion.
Why can't
What
we
a
attack, bro?
comeback it was for these folks.
Bro, I said Claymore on your window car and he jumped out anyways. He didn't give a fuck.
No, I just wanted to.
No, no.
That's
Alrighty,
okay,
here we
like
go,
before.
guys. We are attacking Shopify's defending.
Turn and
We've got-
listen.
Guys, everyone look at me,
Turning,
please, alright?
turning.
Let's have a look. Okay, listen, we've got the slow start out of the way. The comms are flowing. Okay, let's just keep it up, okay? Look how much better happens when we're talking about what we want to do and we're setting these win conditions. I need some more talk, guys, okay? Let's fucking have the back and forth feedback, yeah?
Hold on.
On mining, we need a Bravo or a Twitch. They most likely going to be running the Kite and the Tub, okay? We need to care lobby run out. These guys on their defenses are super fucking aggressive at running out and peeking windows. If we're ready for that, we're getting 3 picks, okay? On reading, they love to run the Pulse, the Valkyrie. We might be able to bring an IQ for the Valk if we can afford it, okay? Pulse below. Actually, Jig, you might be able to go IQ and kill the Pulse from below because he sits in train and fucking on his scanner.
For mining?
Yes.
Zofia and Lion.
He ran through the prep wall. by the
Yeah,
way.
he ran through the prep wall and then he ran at bay. The second time they just cleared through with Sledge Ram Doke Shield. They basically sends off like the VIP. They didn't sends off the long angle, which obviously they could, but they sensed off like the VIP drop from White. And they dropped a shield with like one guy dropping with him. They were holding the red flank like most of that round that the Dokkaebi was. For reading, they sent, like we were talking about earlier, right? They send the Gridlock red a lot of time by himself. Lion, Heaven Repel, Striker, C3 window. This is when they try to do like the early nade with the Thatcher will, so be careful of that. Grim was basically Skylight there. After, they just try to clear through and finish reading door. Second time, they had a guy sitting mining balk. Sledge and Habana drop red and walk CS. Doke was again in the basement, and Grim was just snow balk by himself, so expect a lot of Grim against these guys. Once again, for reading, they cleared through and they try to finish reading door.
Monty Snake, right?
For mine.
Calling for the Monty Snake ban to start things off here in the ban phase, and it was really the Snake that was so important for Shopify Rebellion to find those early gaps and those early entries on Cafe. Surf was excellent on the Snake through these first 3 rounds, and it was a very good ban to come out from Enterprise to take that off the board halfway through. It'll be important that SR can remove it earlier here in this matchup. The Mira banned out as well. I will say it's a little surprising to see SR fall off so quickly, so dramatically after just losing that one operator. Surf in particular has been so versatile so far here at the Salt Lake City Major. He's played 39 different operators, more than any other player here at the Major that's across both attack and defense. But when he needs to jump on the most powerful intel operator in Siege, he clearly has quite a strong impact. So really good to see that coming out from him.
Answer this call.
Maybe a bit of an issue, something stinky going on inside the Enterprise camp. Not exactly sure how that one's going to go, but looks like it's all cleared up.
Now
Not
it's
a
here.
long-standing problem, so we'll ban out the Snake on the side of SR, and whatever the second ban comes through from Enterprise as well should be the Azami if we're playing Standard. And it will be the Kaid instead. Not a bad ban either. Often you'll see Kaid plus Azami or Mira plus Azami, but it's odd to see the Azami get let through.
I mean, you've still got that second ban, so I mean, you can always go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
If you don't think she's going to be a major hindrance here, then you can just leave her through. I mean, we discussed that at the G2 VP game about taking care of the blitz, right?
Yep.
If you're thinking that while she is a strong operator, she's not being used to most effect, is there a more optimal ban somewhere else? Specifically a target ban, right? Because Azami is usually a target ban because most teams have an Azami player. In fact, most teams have multiple Azami players because a baby can play Azami well on most maps at this point.
Yes, for sure.
Just see, maybe after 3 rounds, hopefully you don't lose every single round to the problems that are created by an Azami, but
Yep.
if you feel very confident about this, then you can always go back to that drawing board and take her out next.
Well, Spoit is, I would argue, one of the best Azami players in the world. However, he's not going to rock the Operator, at least for round 7. He'll start on the Aruni to get that long-angle DMR. This is the typical pick for him. So I think SR just choosing not to deviate from their set strategies, maybe expecting an Azami ban and feeling like it's just going to be more to their style to play what they know and not mess things up too much. Lots of information here on this defense, and it prompts a run out early from Ambi. Doesn't amount to any frags, but kind of puts the idea in the back of Enterprise's head like, okay, these guys could be playing aggressive. It's the first defense of the half. Let's watch out.
And it is crazy to think how much more successful Enterprise could have been if their early roams were supported. The mid-round is where this team really shined. Now for Rebellion, they've got Ambi doing most of the calling here on the defensive side of their maps, and it's been very cool to see his growth as he's been able to stretch his legs and watch this Shopify Rebellion team excel. But it hasn't been without its warts. There have been some issues with them going to the same bomb site multiple times. That particular Falcons matchup really does come under the microscope here. But Ambi's a young guy. He's a fragger. He's going to be playing these free-flowing roles and calling at the same time.
Yeah.
That's really difficult to do.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. He went for the run out. He was then caught by that lion charge. Melior's suggestion as he sprints away to not die to that window position earlier on from Tuhan. So good for Ambi to stay alive. What's this push looking like, really, from Enterprise? They've not got really any control up towards the top floor. Of course, they're outside the mining window, as you always will be on this bomb site. But without this information, right, they've got some good intel, but without being able to capitalize on it, without a pick, it's going to be difficult to swarm into the site like they might be hoping for. So instead, it's passive play. It's waiting for a swing, but no opportunities to capitalize on yet.
Spoit holding this window, Tuhan the first to die. Opening picks have not been in the forte of this Enterprise team. Only one time, and it was in the previous round, so Rebellion back to striking first. Losing that Lion will be tough. You still have the Dokkaebi, but now you've lost Brendo as well. Brendo usually competing for the top for Enterprise. Down goes Jigsaw, and my oh my, a suffocating defense for Rebellion. They are not letting Enterprise up for air one bit. Spoit the only casualty so far, but Cairo has his hands full. He'll have to deal with 4 players on the side of Rebellion. What are you even doing at this point in time?
I mean, 60 seconds here. Cairo, he's got the diffuser.
There's a pulse on the board, so they will know where he's coming from. Killing Rexen over by White gives them even more information. And now in this corridor, fighting to survive, fighting to keep Enterprise in this. It was a great comeback for this OS team, but I think they might have just bit off a bit more they can chew with that very first attack. Nitrocell goes out. Rebellion will regain the lead. Enterprise will need to wait a little bit longer to lead on their own map on Cafe.
Nice little Nitro to cap off the 3K from Surf. He takes down Cairo. I mentioned how Surf has the most ops played here at the event. Cairo, the most operators played for Enterprise so far. He was at 30 before this series, and it really is kind of an aggressive defense coming through from Shopify Rebellion. It starts with Rexen getting so aggro over inside of Piano. It's really important that the mental doesn't get shaken after that second quarter comeback from Enterprise. They just got 3 rounds straight in a row. You have your 2 minutes timeout. Shopify Rebellion do a good job of not letting that get into their head. It was initially Ambi who brings that aggression, who runs out, who gets caught by the Lion, who is threatening that pressure, but that's not where their first strike comes. If SR can continue with that, right, playing with their food a little bit, showcase some aggression over here, but then the actual swing and frag comes out over there, it's going to be really difficult for Enterprise to get a handle on this defense, and they might struggle in this second half.
Yeah, I mean, it can be really, really tough running uphill. And I mean, Rebellion obviously have a big difference now in the way that they approach these defenses with a whole different set of eyes governing them. Canadian often comes under fire for his play. He's 3-4 right now. He's been more active on this map in his engagements. He didn't play shields through all of that first half, and now he's going to be playing operators that allow him to get into engagements maybe a bit more, whether it be a Valkyrie on a map like he would play on Nighthaven Labs, or Pulse, what might, I dare say it, be his most signature operator. He will be funneling people into the arms of Rebellion, and I mean, hey, the guns are gunning right now. Spoit, positive. Surf, positive. Rexton, positive. Some of that does need to be given credit to Canadian.
Yeah, he loves his information here on this reading room bomb site, Parker. If it's not the Pulse, it's usually something like the Mozzie, just to gather that information, deny it a bit for the defenders. Outside the windows still remains Enterprise. They want to be able to work one of these picks before they get in towards the building. They, again, didn't ban the Azami, which makes you think maybe they aren't going to be outside as much, but it's not being played, so the opportunities are there. Bappin, outside the mining window, does find the first frag through one of those outer positions, and it's Canadian, the captain, to go down.
Tuon's looking for another, and he'll get it. As Enterprise will find yet another kill. I believe technically Bappin got that very first pick, if memory serves correctly. And with you losing Canadian, there's a difference again between active and passive gadgetry. If you're Pulse, you gotta stay alive. That's really the name of the game. Play a safe position, usually isolated or protected by reinforcements, maybe other gadgetry. If you're running a Valkyrie, you can keep those black eye cams in positions where they can help. Canadian going down is really detrimental. Ambi on the run out takes care of Brendo. Does he get back in alive? He does. So Ambi will live to see another day, and there goes Tuhon to Spoit. A round that looked like it might have been out of reach is suddenly very competitive here for both teams.
It's a long angle fight from Spoit in Cocktail, but he gets traded right back out from Cairo. So this is not out of the woods just yet for SR. They've got Surf alone top floor. They don't know his position, but they're clearing these angles one at a time, and Ambi under fire down towards the bottom of White Stairs. A great nade forces Surf back. Almost caught by the Deimos, and there goes the frag. Ambi alone in the 1v3.
Really well orchestrated execute. And again, Enterprise doing very well in this mid-round. The difference is they had a great start to this round as well, Jesse. It's pushed Ambi into an unwinnable position as now his cross is being held by Jigsaw. And make no mistake, Jigsaw will punish him for it. Enterprise yet to lead here on their own map, but they put themselves in a position where one more successful round, and the lead is theirs. They've tied things up.
Yeah, EP simplifying, I think, a little bit there in round number 8, right? They're not getting inside the building and trying to cause chaos. They're spending a little bit more time out on the windows, whether it's mining, whether it's piano. They've got these long angle fights. They're always going to favor them. The Azami's not being run from SR. The castle's not being run from SR. Run around, right? Hold these long angles. You know they want to play aggressive, and that's exactly what they were trying to do on the side of Shopify Rebellion. It was some good aggro moves, particularly from Ambi, that kind of got them back in this game, but you'd rather be in a position where they're getting aggressive to get back into it rather than to extend that man count lead, right? So it's good passive play to come through from Enterprise. They tie us back up at 4, and they stay alive on their own pick.
Really good discipline from EP. And Jesse, we have something to report that wasn't noted because we were looking at replays. Enterprise's typers have entered the chat. You know Enterprise are feeling mighty good about their prospects if those fingers are finging in chat, and oh boy, were they ever. Bappin criticizing the run out in the previous round. Again, a lot of this game is confidence-based.
Sure.
I will give some credit to Rebellion on that previous round.
bro.
They knew where the
still
last
tied?
couple EP players were, but they were just at really disadvantageous fights. So even when they're losing, Rebellion still have a good idea of where Enterprise are. 1 or 2 more players on Rebellion are still alive. Maybe that intel nets a
They're still
positive
tied,
kill,
bro.
and suddenly you're in a better spot. But that wasn't the case. Really tight mid-round from Enterprise, and they win off of it.
Canadian tried to hide this clash down inside of Kitchen, but whether he was successful or not, there have been loads of clash counters brought in this lineup for Enterprise. You've got the Nomad, you've got the Capitao, and you've got really good vert play up above, which can make things really awkward for the clash. Ideally, if you're playing clash on this site, you want like a horizontal shield push to come in from the attackers, and that is not what's being brought by Enterprise. Taking this top floor should be relatively free. There's nobody roaming on the side of SR. They could go for a late flank, but once you set up these air jabs, I think that's likely not going to be an option for Shopify Rebellion. They're probably just going to have to sit inside the site. So expect this to be a slow round. Often on this cafe bottom floor site, you're going to see teams work through the top 2 floors, pop the hatch, and then make their way in towards the bomb site from there. They've brought just 2 can openers from Cairo, so if something crazy goes down and he dies before getting the freezer hatch, that could be a disaster. There are Valk cams which can guide some Nitro cells, but as long as Tuhan is sharp, he's playing the IQ here. That shouldn't be a problem for EP.
Relatively slow entry for Enterprise right now, and with the way that Rebellion have been working on both attack and now also on defense, you don't necessarily want to put yourself in a position where you get picked off early. Enterprise, though, have been able to scrounge out a couple victories, even though they've lost that first player. Again,
This is a pretty even match, I'm
mid-round
not
for the
gonna lie.
team. If you can recover
can
really
lock it in,
gracefully
man.
after surrendering that first pick, that really does speak to some good cohesion and structure on the team. And I mean, you said it, last time an OS team played on main stage 6 years ago. Who was on that team, Jesse?
It was Mag,
And what is he now?
coaching EP.
And he knows, he's very prepared. We've learned an awful lot about the prep work from this team in
Yeah.
these midpoint timeouts that we've listened to.
Well, they've got a great drone here. Look at this, right on the back of Ambi. Usually the Valkyrie's got info on her side, but this time it's favoring the attackers. Tuhan doesn't want to get over-eager with this. They still need to get that hatch open. Looks like it just got popped by Cairo, so
nowhere
that's going to
to
be an angle that they have open to drop in for the kit. Clearing VIP is critical. Whether you smoke this guy off or get the kill, you cannot drop this hatch safely until he's taken care of.
And Ambi is under fire. Nades going off in front of him. They're throwing everything but the
bro,
kitchen sink
almost.
in his
How?
direction, and he's exchanged some words as well. Bullets go out. Nitro Cell will go try to buy time. Cairo getting the defuse kit down. Nope. Canadian to the rescue. And he might have
Nice.
another on the sledge. The old dog doesn't need to be taught new tricks. He knows this map. He knows this play. A multiplayer stack up over towards Freezer. Reflexes maybe a bit too slow for that one. Brendo outduels in.
Nice.
Ambi with the Deeg. Rexon on the board.
Ah,
Frozen
almost. It's
out
gotta be
inside
like
of this
half
part of the
HP.
map, and there's no time left
Yes.
for recovery. Enterprise
Let's
will
go.
need to wait yet again for this lead. They have tied or trailed as Rebellion continue to win these scrappy affairs.
They say a shield is Canadian's best friend, but he just abandoned it in that round, Parker. Left the clash shield down towards the bottom of red, said, I'm going to bring out this SMG and stop the plant all by myself. It was brilliantly played by Enterprise to get past Ambi on that Valkyrie. They had the drone perfectly. They smoked him out. The C4 didn't land. I mean, everything to the VIP player was perfectly executed. The only problem is there was another guy in the site, and that was Troy. Really big moves from Canadian to recognize what that push was trying to do. Understand that he wasn't going to accomplish much on the Clash. Usually the Clash is finding a lot of value, maybe if there's a bakery push, because you can play those horizontal angles to stop you from coming in. But as long as you're just focused on the horizontal, you just can't do a lot when Enterprise go for that top-down take. So what does he do? He leaves the shield bottom brown. He says, I don't need it, and he stops that plant from going down. If he can't make that play, the plant goes down 5v5. I think Enterprise win that round, but the captain of Shopify Rebellion really stands tall in round number 9.
Cafe is a map that, and I know, look, you the viewer, you probably hate me saying this, but I am good friends with Troy. But I am happy to call a spade a spade. He is very critical of my casting. He had some choice words for some things I've said about Shopify Rebellion in the past. That's just the way it goes. But I did talk about Troy after that fateful kickoff game where I think he got 0 kills when Ambi had that life game.
Right.
And Troy literally did come over to my house for dinner a couple days later, and I said, what happened there? And he just said very flatly, he's like, I really shouldn't be getting kills on Cafe. Ambi should be getting those kills, and Surf should be getting those kills. It's abundantly clear that Spoit has picked up some of those spots as well, but to his credit, Canadian now has 4 frags, and I do hope the naysayers are maybe saying nay a little bit less, because it's undeniable. The way that he is using this team and the way that he's playing and the way that his teammates are playing. Things are going pretty well for this Rebellion team, and I mean, the numbers don't lie. Right now,
they're doing
everybody's
pretty
having a pretty
solid, but-
decent game at the moment.
Many of the naysayers in this matchup, of
They can
course,
play
will be the
definitely better. The way that
Australians
they
playing
play
against
against
Canadian.
FaZe.
They don't say nay, they say nar.
Oh no! We lost the round.
Except Canadian. Canadian kind of sold.
Sorry for that one.
I had to.
You had to, didn't
I
ya?
appreciate it. You set me up so well.
A Rooney banned out by Enterprise. This was
Playing
Spoit's
better
operator
now, I
last time
think.
they
Yeah,
came
playing.
around to mining and dining. He swaps over to the castle. Again, not choosing to play his most common operator of Azami in this position. Really interested to maybe ask him why that is the case. With the sledge being
Yeah.
brought by Jigsaw, a lot of those castle barricades will get dealt with relatively quickly. Of course, it
Usually
can be
plays
quite powerful
Azami.
over on that cigar door, so perhaps there's just some important angles for him to want to deal with. But good answers being brought by Enterprise so far. Almost a minute deep into this round, and they've not found a kill just yet.
And I mean, you were a little surprised that we didn't see the Azami ban, and yet SR has not played the Azami once.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, again, sometimes you make changes as you go along. You could have banned the Azami, but they don't see it being a need because she hasn't shown up just
Nice,
yet. There goes
Rexon.
Tuhan at the hands of Rexon, that DMR.
This is
Oh
going
boy,
crazy
it's a
right
nasty
now.
gun in the right hands, and Rexon is usually the right hands for that kind of mechanical play. Enterprise really struggling in the opening moments of every round, attack or defense.
Well, this Castle Barricade actually on the back
Don't peek that,
bar
don't peek that,
door
don't
is
peek
going to
that,
make
don't
things
peek that.
very safe from the skylight,
He's
which
cooked,
is one
he's
thing,
cooked.
but Spoit still
Yeah.
goes down. No DMR to hold things
Nice,
down. Instead,
Rexen.
Rexen
Nice
will
trade.
have to sing 2 frags in this round as his teammates
gotta
start
go
to
up and
fall
help him.
around him, but that is okay. Man advantage SR.
Rexon right now in Freezer, man, chill. What are you doing here? He's playing the Zoto canisters. This guy's cold all across the board. They're looking to
Nice.
close on in, but Rexon is just destroying them. A third target now for
Holy,
him. Jesse,
bro.
you and I yet to cast an ace.
Almost.
We're not going to do it. I got to stop saying stuff like that. Rexon taken care of as Brendo
Sold,
goes for
bro,
the swing
sold,
onto
bro.
Freezer.
Why this
Advantage still for
commentating?
Rebellion.
Oh, wait,
Lots of
I'm
time
sorry,
left.
damn it.
Enterprise might be in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Surf is still top white too. Like, this is not a complete fall off from the roam game. Surf is very aggressive up towards this top floor. They seemingly don't know
Nice.
either. So it's
Get back,
free
get
right
back.
onto
Just drop down,
Brendo.
drop
They
down, drop
thought
down.
it was clear, but not the case.
peek, don't
Bappin
peek, don't
1v3.
Jesse, would you
Good time,
say
good time.
it's for real estate?
Yes, good job.
Free at this
Drop
point.
down.
Oh, I don't think you've seen the video.
I
We
don't know
we
what-
simply have to
Play
show
time,
you the
play
video.
time.
He doesn't know ball chat. He doesn't. It's ball knowledge of Tim and Eric. It's just
Ball
it needs to get up
knowledge.
there. Bappin right now, I do fear might be prolonging the inevitable just a little bit. No case control. He's still got some track stingers in
11
pocket.
seconds.
But
This
they're
guy's
not going to
cooked.
really have much use here.
Nice.
He had a good read on Surf, but I mean, you're at the disadvantage at that point in time. Great round for the Rebellion. One
Let's go.
away from sniping Enterprises.
Let's
map.
go.
And it again comes back off those
good, that's
really
good, that's
important
good, that's
kills
good.
from Rexon. Richie Coronado, genuinely one of the most consistent players that I have been able to cast over the last
Risk.
5 or 6 years. He's been on this team for over 5 years now, if you include that Sonics core that became Shopify Rebellion. And you go back through his stats, he has almost never gone negative in that time here on SR. He's not always the flashiest guy in the game, right? When Spoit's hitting multi-kills, when Ambi's hitting multi-kills, when Surf's getting crazy clutches, Rexon often isn't talked about, but he is so consistent for the last few years on this team that it's no wonder how he's kept his spot and how he's been able to make such big moments happen with Shopify Rebellion throughout some big games in the past. That's probably his best round of the tournament so far. He sits 12-7, the kill leader inside this lobby. Again, I gotta go back to Surf as well. His wrap spot so important in that last round to give themselves a win.
Cali boys, man. They're
Yeah.
California dreaming here. Not too far removed from Salt Lake City, another good California. Hot and cold will be playing later today. Over on the B stream, we do have a result between Los and Weibo, but we will not spoil it. The next matchup is set to begin in just a matter of moments. It might even be ongoing, but we are,
Wait, who's
this
playing
might
right now?
surprise some people, we're not actively watching the other
Los
stream
versus
while
Weibo.
casting this stream. I'm not that ADHD pilled,
No,
I suppose.
No. We need some, for some casters might be, right? Get a little TikTok
You got a stim?
going.
Maybe you got a stim? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not that kind of guy. I need to stim every now and then.
Sure.
Maybe just a little bit. Caffeine helps. Rebellion, though, about to take Enterprise's map. The phrase we said and have said on broadcast time and time again, you're not in trouble until you've lost at home. And that is what is staring down Enterprise at this moment. Staring down
Yeah,
the barrel
one
of
more.
defeat.
One more, let's
And then
go, let's
Rebellion
go,
get to
let's
go
go. Lock in,
over
lock
to
in.
that Nighthaven Labs and will be in really good shape to close this out in a 2-0. I will remind
Nice.
people this is a qualification match. So
Nice.
loser does get to play again. This is just to play on the main stage, and neither of these teams played in front of a crowd. So
Neither
Rebellion
of them?
hoping
I
for
thought
that
they
to be
did.
true.
The invincible
didn't manage
castle
to-
barricade
he didn't manage to
surviving
get
2
the
direct
grenade on
frag
it, right?
grenades now, Parker. That's a tough one coming out.
I
from
keep
the
like
back for
forgetting
Cairo.
that orange is like
Keep
switching
Surf's
and
position so strong just inside of Cigar now as they've been really doing their best to clear this out. At this point, even if Surf dies in Cigar, he's wasted so much good time that I honestly think
wasted
it's
a lot of
okay.
time.
You'd want Spoit to get a trade if that does happen, but they're so confident playing their spots, they don't have to move. The onus is on Enterprise to force these players out.
Out go the Bees to try and isolate this play at top light. Halfway through the round, Rexon eliminating Tuhon. Enterprise have only been able to strike first
Almost, come on.
twice so
Swing 'em,
far
swing
in
'em.
this
Nice.
entire series. The
One's
mid-round
open,
has
one's
been
open,
their
one's
forte,
open.
and they might not have enough bodies to get there at this point in time, Jesse. Rebellion have taken out another as now Jigsaw is gone.
I just play time.
Nobody
Play time.
on this team in a positive
Nice.
KD. Brendo will die. Rebellion
That's fine.
looking for a
That's fine.
flawless
That's
round. It will
fine.
not be found. Cairo eliminating Rexon. And now a fall off from the Rebellion. They've done so much damage here, and
Come
they
on,
are
come
in
on, come on.
excellent position to close out Enterprise's map.
42.
All the pressure on Bappin and Cairo. They must win this 2v4 clutch, but it's so tough. They got time to work with, that's one thing. Diffuser is kind of
You gotta
far
break through
away.
that.
It's outside the building, just outside of White Stairs as well, so they really
over.
won't be able to go for a plant here, Parker. They have to go in and find all 4 frags.
That nade went off to try and take care of the castle barricade. It did not work. Those nades giveth and they taketh away. Jesse, you need to bring some
Nice.
other type of direct destruction.
It's over.
Maybe
It's
on
over. They
map
know where
number
the
2,
last
because
is.
that's
Yep,
where
they
we're
heard
heading.
that.
Enterprise,
Over.
just as Bappin left, and Ambi says,
Let's
good
go.
night, see you later. Cafe is ours. SR
Let's go.
taking Enterprise's map with an incredible
Nice.
performance. 7-4 the scoreline. 1 map away from SR being on main stage for the first time ever.
A massive result coming out, taking their opponent's pick. It started so strong with 3 in a row, and the mountain was just too big to come back from.
Stay locked in.
Shopify Rebellion steal their opponent's pick in this best of 3 series.
Why is he looking kind of short? Or is that just... Good shit. Dude, look, 14-8. 10-6. You got smacked, bro. Okay, this guy's just pissed. Good shit. Okay, next one's at 5. I think down with it. That shit was good.
Down or a lack of utility, G2 is just bottomed out on this entry.
Yeah, that mute jammer from Skies means it's going to be really hard to push him out. Benja can't see him on the snake, so it gets really awkward to clear this roam position. He is a bit caught. He doesn't have a good
watch that.
rotate back to sight, and he's likely dead here to Benja. But no!
What?
Loses the fight. Skies so good with the SMG-11.
0 damage done to him up till that point. Stompin will find a little bit. Skies on a rampage. Alimau shot down, and it's Stompin in a 1v5. This is not the start that G2 wanted whatsoever. These are both
Fair
very
enough.
good attacking teams on this
them up.
map. The defender win rate for VP,
Wow.
not very good. You wouldn't know it after that one. A flawless start and a
what's the score? Let's see.
4K.
Able to really. So what's the game plan to win this round? The stall is great, but that's the last Toxic Babe just used by Zach. Now he's pinned down with the hatch open on top of him too, so it's only a matter of time until he gets cleaned up.
There's a single nitro cell.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you got to stop this plant in its tracks, and now Nako will menacingly see Stompin in this position. Wouldn't it be nice to have a gas canister at this point? He's going to get
Oh, that bitch
disoriented and
cooked.
followed up on Pasha.
Stompin's
Technically
cooked.
credited with the kill, though Nako did so much work there. Intel will be grabbed by Virtus Pro as we reach the final stretch of this 10th round. There's Doki now back in his familiar spot in gold, calling. Maybe they've got... Ooh, the defuse kit tumbling down. Maybe they'll play the long-range angles and just hope for direct gunfights. The Razor Blooms will buy some time. Benja outdueling will buy some time. Benja outdueling Dan. There we go. Long-range engagements with the DMRs. That will ultimately work out. VP will have to get the job done without their statistical best player. Now it's all up to Skies. As in the site, there's Pasha. Traded out. Nako on the board too. G2 just as Doki, and he's slaughtered by Rorik.
Smack.
VP wins the round, and they be the flex here, but the other 4 locked in. That is Vin. Will G2 win their map? We'll find out after this break.
Okay.
But you know Ali Mao is very
G2
comfortable with
lost.
the team, either from a coaching but hey, players can't talk that side of the race.
G2 won. 7-4.
Because it gets kind of the old.
And then on
Trying to set up.
4.
Spiker's never
G2
gotten that
smacking
memo,
them.
but pretty much every other IGL has. The feeling that Ali Mao might just be dragging this one out as he's now spotted inside of Archives. And yeah, there we go. 2 separate players all hunting for that final kill. Pasha will get it. VP stays alive for at least one more round. G2 still sitting on series point.
It's a
4-8 all.
first 6 rounds. He has to be sharp playing with Skies up on this top floor.
This is going to be the quiet before the storm. The calm is here. Who will end up in the eye of the hurricane? Skies taken out by Stomp, and that's another opening pick for G2 so far. These opening picks, all but the previous round, have determined who ultimately wins. VP hoping that the trend line from the
so
previous round will
overdrawn.
hold, but it's not looking good. Down goes Dan. If you remove Dan and Pasha from the equation, VP will struggle, and they've got half of that job done on the side of G2.
Yeah, you're really starting to clear out some of these key important players, Parker. Rorik, Nako, and Pasha, the last ones alive. Nako alone on the site. Rorik and Pasha now here on the top floor. They've got to be able to get active, but at what point do you call your shot? At what moment do you try to get aggressive?
Well, I think Rorik's figured that one out. Shaiko has him pinned down. It allows Stomben to post up towards the window. There goes Pasha. There goes Rorik.
It's over for them.
G2's already had a flawless round in this map. Will they do it again? It's all up to Nako as he gets away for the time being. G2 will clinch their spot and a berth on the main stage.
Now, if these guys make it, I'm going to major. Why did all the way back up? If they make it, I'm going. Hold on.
We are burning through our matches here on the A stream, and boy, oh boy, was that a bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
Enterprise, Shopify Rebellion said, this is your map, this is my map. And now Shopify Rebellion is up 1-0, and they are a single map away from the first time that they would play.
These commentators,
in
I
front of
like
a
the way
crowd
they
since
talk.
their
His voice is kind of
Yeah,
sexy.
exactly. Shopify Rebellion have yet
He
to
got a
make
nice
it to that
voice.
big
They
main
both got
stage
nice
that they've been
voice.
hoping for. Of course, under old organizations, they've hit that high water mark, but not here since representing the lime green. So going to be really excited to see if they can close things down
they
on
can make it.
Night
They can
Haven
make it.
Labs.
Trust.
This will be their map pick as well. Enterprise choosing to start on the defense as expected, so they will have to be able to rack up the rounds early. Otherwise, SR could be off to a strong game.
And you, the people, think that SR is going to walk away with this. So far, you've been pretty correct with your social predictions. Don't forget to get your predictions in and spam the chat with !charm. It does increase your ability to get those drops. Let's see, will SR close this one out 2-0? Will Enterprise fight back and stay in contention to make it to main stage? A reminder, the loser is still in this event. They will play tomorrow in a best of 3 to see if they go home or go to the main stage. So the stakes are high, but
Hopefully they
it's
can
not
win.
dire.
Get it done.
Enterprise or Shopify
Get it over
Rebellion
with.
will have at least one more chance.
20% community vote is not bad if you're Enterprise. They've come back from worse than that. And of course, just yesterday, a huge upset victory beating the Falcons 8-6 in a best of 1 on this very map.
Falcons?
So we know that Enterprise can be exceptional playing here, but it's also a lot of footage that Super and the rest of the squad on SR will have been reviewing over the last 24 hours. So hopefully they've had some time to change up their strats just a bit. Shopify Rebellion 2-0 this season, beating both 1 of 30 and Edward Gaming. So both teams quite familiar with this map. Both teams quite good at this map, but maybe a bit of an information edge favoring the North American team. They will ban electricity off the walls, of course, as we come to expect from the very hard bridge-focused map of Night Haven Labs, and then Ying and Ace removed by Enterprise.
Unfortunately, longtime haters of Nikola Tesla and what was the other guy's name? Oh, Thomas Edison, the guy who stole all of it from Nikola Tesla. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that because Edison is American, of course, and we're in America, so obviously just a small joke here. But yeah, I mean, no electrification means that getting open those walls will be relatively easy. Not that teams usually struggle with that. Even if Bandit, it depends on the team. Okay, hold on. Yes. Some teams struggle with their own drones.
Sure.
But teams are starting to get to the point where they can approach this bomb site with the electrification remaining open. I do think you're correct. I think they're good bans, but a Nazami ban is not a bad idea here either.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't see a Nazami ban on map number 1, she is a very strong operator here. Mira's a strong operator here. There are lots of good options and just simply not enough bans at this point in time. And again, as we said about the Azami all the way back on the first map, you can always ban after 3 rounds.
Yeah, Mira, of course, a common ban on this bomb site as well. Not necessarily even because the windows can be so good to help gunfights, but just because it is another wall denial operator. When you toss those impacts, when you make some threatening moves throughout that open window on the IT breach, that's exactly what Cairo has just done with his secondary window being placed down on the breach. So it's still not going to be free for SR to open that one up, but with Surf on the Hibana, they should have the tools that are needed to make that play happen. Now, Tuhon, over onto the Pulse. This is actually not going to be a top floor defense. I was going to say Pulse very odd on this bomb site, but of course the site is storage and control, so a little bit less uncommon here to see this operator come through. But once more, the top floor will be the focal point for this attack. Generally, what a team want to do on this site is they want to open up IT breach up above and then get in through the site window, but it will be Canadian with a Twitch drone.
Yes!
Twitch?
Yes! We don't get to see Twitch drone kills. I'm sorry.
They got him a Twitch drone
kill? Back in the day when they used to do 10 damage and you could spawn in and kill somebody in prep phase.
Yeah.
Because you just tased somebody who was AFK 10 times. Oh my goodness. It's like when you see somebody die to like a breaching charge or something. It just brings out the inner kid in me. That's all. I delight in, again, the tomfoolery. Cairo will join Jigsaw. Down goes Canadian to a Nitro cell. So Enterprise still has some bark left alongside their bite, but they're going to need a bit more bite, especially now that Tuhon has perished. I see that old habits still die hard. A very fast pace was set by SR on map number 1. They have not let off the gas at all here on map 2.
No, it's been technically a double kill from Spoit. That Twitch drone frag credited to him down from the bottom of Garage. And now he's got to do Canadian's job once again as he picks up that defuse kit, tries to plant it. No more Nitro cell, so it's got to be a pure raw swing. Ambi is better, though, and Bappen in the 1v4 will have to play the post plant.
Very good coordination to cover that angle. And, I mean, Bappen picked up a lot of kills in garbage time on the previous map. Some more helpful than others. But very few actually turned the tides of this round. He's got 1 to his name,
it's over for
3 targets to find. There's action aplenty to happen for Enterprise. But with the discipline that's been shown by the Rebellion, I do not love his chances. To compound matters, he's got the timer working against him. Scorpion, maybe not the gun to engage at this long range. He does a little bit of damage, but those bullets tickle you at that point in time, and no tickle fight to be had. Rex in the final kill, and SR, their reign of terror over Enterprise, continues apace.
I want to highlight Surf briefly, Parker. He was such an important part of that 3-0 lead that SR was able to get back on Cafe, and really a lot of it was just finding and hitting those gaps when the opponents aren't expecting it at the most critical times. He did it again. We didn't catch it on the mainstream, but of course, Surf able to just walk his way in through Lounge, got a critical frag just in the midst of that, the second of the round, favoring Shopify Rebellion, and so it's just those little moments, those little gaps in the defense that Enterprise have had throughout the day that Shopify Rebellion have done such an amazing job at finding out and making sure that they can capitalize on. If you were to give the Twitch drone kill over to Canadian, which I know we can't, but if you were, it would have been a team ace to come through from SR, but Spoit gets the down initially, so it will be slightly denied here on the offensive side.
Exact same thing happened in round 1 at Cafe.
Yeah, you're right. Was it Rexon or someone who got the
I think Rexon got 2 and Canadian got 0, but he still had an assist, so big ups to him.
Yeah, we'll count it, of course, for the hardcore stat believers, but interested that we're not seeing Enterprise go top floor still. There are some sites where, like, the first site you play is kind of up in the air. Like, Cafe, you could really go anywhere first site. Chalet, we see teams mix things up for the first site. But Nighthaven Labs, I mean, the top floor is just thought to be so much better than either of the other sites that you see. I could maybe see going storage and then top, but the fact that top is not being played at all until round 3 likely is, I don't know, it's a bit of a surprise to me.
So, Jesse, I know you're not a very good cook, but there is a kitchen on this map. People do defend this bomb site from time to time. We saw Bar Stage on Clubhouse. Anything is possible.
It's possible.
We saw Supply on Border like less than an hour ago. Crazier things have happened.
You're right.
And teams will work pocket strats, but you are spot on. Usually you have the 3-site rotation here. Teams, depending on familiarity, might go over to Kitchen if it's a Hail Mary pass or they feel they are really experienced on it, but typically that bomb site does not show up more than maybe twice an event.
Some teams like it, but again, like they usually favor it over this basement site. This bottom floor bomb site has kind of been, it's been really falling out of favor. I mean, there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about this bottom floor site. I know Grant's the former analyst has talked a lot about its win rate and how it's not really finding much success these days.
He just hopped in.
Jigsaw finding some
Yeah, he
success,
probably
though.
just
His
hopped
first
in
kill
and
of the map
done.
will find Rexon on the Thermite. He had done most of his job already, but that's still a big pick to come through from Yella.
Is it Crossfire? No, it's
He's looking for another. So now there's some calm as that Logic Bomb finally falls off. Chalet kind of went through that same rotation. Hey, the bottom floor bomb site on Chalet was really popular for quite some time. And now you see teams avoid it like the plague. Enterprise at the halfway point. Just waiting out this Deimos mark.
nice.
Spoit.
Boy, it's so good with that.
Spoit has been
my
the lightning
God,
rod
bro.
for this
He's
team, and my
actually been
God,
insane.
I don't even think Bappin
Dude.
saw that.
Dude,
Yeah, I mean, you've got the
Spoit the
Deimos
fuck
track
with
on
that.
you. You clearly know this if you're bapping. You're going to go for the 1v1
he's
versus
actually
Spoit
so
of all
good.
people. I don't know. That's a tough
Nah,
fight to
1v1,
take
bro,
for
you're not
Enterprise.
winning that.
Spoit far and away have the most kills at this event, but it is worth noting SR has played something
Already had,
like
like,
20
70
more
something.
rounds
Bro, he's like
than the next
80
closest team. So
right
it's one of
now.
those things where you're just going to pick up kills based on the amount you play.
Oh my God.
All right, it's going to be one of those types of
Yo,
games.
that
It's
was
one of these
nasty.
games. It's just a bunch of youngsters that just
They're on.
It's nasty, bro.
It's there were some things I could say, but I'm not going to say them because I don't want to seem offensive. But yeah, they're insane. And now you got Spoit lined up for a potential other kill.
Oh my!
That
Oh,
would've
he just ran
amazed
out of
him.
ammo,
Oh my
bro.
goodness, he could have
That's
got Jigsaw
insane.
there. Surf
Okay,
will
it's
get it
fine.
instead.
Nice,
Down goes
Let's
Spoit.
go.
Ambi trades it back. Rebellion not slowing down at all.
dude.
Big motivating
that was
round.
so
Incredible
nasty,
first
bro.
map, and
But yeah.
definitely feels like the wind is
How
at
does
the
he
back
do
of
that,
the
bro?
How many times this event,
This is some
Parker, have we
motivation
talked
for
about
me,
that
man. I
Intel
gotta-
operator trio, Dokkaebi, Snake, and Deimos, who have made roaming so difficult in the meta that we have today? And what are the three operators left alive in that 3v3? It's Snake, Deimos, Dokkaebi, ready to just lock down that bomb
Deimos
site.
is
Some
insane.
brilliant shots being hit by Ambi and Spoit in particular. Spoit, you know, maybe we'll forget about those basement engagements just because of how good the first fight was up on towards that cafeteria side, but even still, like, SR just seem like they're firing on all cylinders right now. They look so sharp on the individual mechanics, and when you combine a really high-skill player with all of the information that SR clearly have, not just on the three operators, but also Canadian, either playing a drone operator or a shield operator,
How do you get him
gathering
with the
info
drone,
to help
bro?
his teammates as well.
That's insane.
It really
How
just sets up
was-
SR to be
was
in the
he, bro?
best position to be so scary to fight against on any, like, far-off site position.
And with this being their map pick, it should be Enterprise running up the score. And yet,
Yep.
they have looked listless. I will say, just from the eye test, Enterprise do look better and more comfortable here
Agreed.
than they did on Cafe. Now, obviously, we could dive into the numbers, and maybe some of the ball knowers would be able to shine a either stronger or a different light than us, but just from what we've seen and what we've assessed, Enterprise looks like they're more warmed up. Now, it's entirely possible they just came in cold on Cafe. It really could be something like that. But here, you cannot let things get too far ahead of you. On Cafe, you let SR run up the score. You manage to pull it back for the first half before falling apart. Here, it's completely different. SR is going to be going on to their preferred side, so it is incumbent upon you to get a couple
Why
rounds
is he
here
just
and
corner?
maybe make SR question
Just trying.
their own strategy and get in their heads.
No Mira, no mute, so these walls get opened up with really no issues on the side of SR. There is Jigsaw, of course, here on the Tubarão, and he had the opportunity to close off that connector wall. He didn't take it. I think he wants to save all three of these other canisters just for IT. I will often call this the most important wall in all of Rainbow Six. It continues to be so critical for attackers and defenders to focus on, so even though it will open eventually, this massive stall game coming out from Jigsaw could make a huge difference when we get into the last 60 seconds of this round.
Never heard you say that before.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Why
Now
didn't he
I've heard
stall it
something
more?
new. And I will shamelessly take it. The wall has been opened up, by the way. And so the rigmarole that typically happens in IT, we have a couple maps where there is rigging and rolling, as we've talked about. Downstairs bank basement is a good one. Now that you've opened it up, what's next? This connector portion right here is so incredibly important because once that breach is open, if you can wrestle control here away from the defenders, you have a perfect crossfire to paralyze the
Nice
defenders
aim.
and gun them down.
Look
There
up.
you go. Look at
Oh.
that. Spoit on the glass.
Nice.
Answer
Okay.
back. Spoit's
though.
deaths all seemingly coming from Nitro cells. He gets shot in the
Nice,
previous round.
Ambi.
There's Ambi with the F2 in
Almost,
hand.
almost, almost.
Cannot outduel Brendo. Down goes Rexon. He'll get picked back up by Surf as Canadian gets dropped yet again by an M870. It's the second time that that's happened in this series. It's a little odd with how little we see that shotgun. But with Thorn on the board, you'll see it from time to time. It's a bit of a hole that the Rebellion are ingesting and not a lot of time to work with. Enterprise just need to sit tight and not give too much up, and they should skate to victory.
Yeah, no need to overpeak this. Of course, those air jabs getting tossed out, but they've just been shot, so it's not really going to be something to worry about. Rexon is praying for a swing, but it should not come from Cairo.
Surf might have something. Oh, with the shotgun too. This is winnable.
He's cooked.
He gets
Oh.
one. Surf now has
Okay,
to
lock
turn
in,
his
lock in,
sights
lock in.
towards the two other players running out of time. And look at that. The Warden of Tuhon close up. Saw the Azami maybe for a pixel of her for a split second, but ultimately not
sorry,
enough.
sorry,
Really
one
well played by Enterprise. Again, through that mid to late round, things go well. And I once again will report Enterprise is typing in chat.
Again, Parker, it's the best site on the map for a
That was
reason.
Canadian
We finally
KD.
get there for Enterprise, and
Oof.
finally they do manage to close that one out. It's just really good mid-round fighting, as you said. It was Brendo who got that frag onto Ambi, and then it was Cairo with the shotgun that killed Canadian. You said it, the M870. He was just trying to make his way in through electrical. That's where Cairo was playing the entire round, practically, trying to support Bappin over on that connector side. Even after Bappin dies, Cairo continues to hold down that position. And I don't know, we didn't get to catch it quite on the main feed, so maybe Canadian just getting meleeed, maybe he's a little bit isolated by his teammates. That'll happen from time to time, but so difficult to push onto that top floor of Nighthaven Labs. Enterprise alive in this series, they get their first.
Can't call it a tertiary site because it is obviously used quite often, but very first time they go to it, it gets used.
And Parker, I don't know if you've known this, but there is actually a kitchen on this map of Nighthaven Labs.
Okay.
What?
You can't just take my line.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is going to be the fourth bomb site that Enterprise have played in 4 rounds.
these
So
commentators.
clearly feeling
I would
that
not be
all
able to
maps are comfortable
commentate,
for
bro.
them.
I said this in Paris.
I don't even know what to
I'll
say.
say it again. I
Yo,
hate
who's in Paris?
so much for the things that you say.
Oh,
boy.
Nobody sees this map. Nobody sees this
Alright.
bomb site. They don't like to go downstairs. This kitchen's been more popular. Oh, did you know that they're playing kitchen?
I don't sound like that, Parker.
I didn't say you did.
I don't sound like that.
But anyway, we go to kitchen cafeteria. This will be a full run across the map for Enterprise, as you very correctly pointed out. Of course, as with any main floor bomb site, most teams are going to want to go for a top-down clear. You can see from the blue silhouettes on your screen. Enterprise is paying quite attention to the top floor, and Rebellion will need to wrestle it away. Throughout the course of this series, Rebellion have been terrific at drawing first blood. Enterprise only been able to get the first kill 3 times on both maps.
Yeah, it's likely going to be Jigsaw or Bappin, the first one to get in a gunfight for EP in this round, Parker. It's that top kind of lobby stairs position. It's currently played by Bappin, which is often so powerful for the defenders to control. Doesn't actually have a lot of util. Often you'll see a Clash played here, sometimes a deployable shield, but really just the Surya Gate being played, and of course the long-range DMR. Doesn't get droned out, but will shoot it before he gets the opportunity, so they know that somebody's playing in that spot now. He's got Cairo to support him down below, and again, Jigsaw over on the other side of top floor to hold things down.
Waiting for more drone work to be done. You can see the intel being gathered by Rebellion Enterprise, just sitting back, cooling their heels right now. There go the logic bombs and looking for a vault in, but the barbed wire might give them some pause here as there's an explosion upstairs. All this utility
Get in.
being used to good effect. Rexon had a terrific
He doesn't know
first
if there's
map,
someone over there,
but
though,
again, they
right?
swap these roles
the
around
other
the way
second
that
floor
they
site.
play. Spoit has been involved in way more action
The second floor
than
site.
Rexon on this map up to this point. When you have the versatility that the Rebellion has, it's easy for you to be able to jostle that around.
Oh.
Cairo's not aware of
Nice.
Ambi's position, and Ambi saw on his radar that there was another really close by. So if Enterprise are not able to deal with this, Ambi can continue to do some serious damage. Canadian not being the allegations on that one. There's absolutely nothing I can say about that. Ambi dies to Tuhon, so they've regained some of the momentum inside the bomb site for Enterprise. drawing even with just under a minute left in the round.
He's almost 30, cut him some slack. We'll get back on the drones now in the 4v4 and hopefully try to get some info for his fraggers to get these kills. They've got lobby control under their grasp, and of course the top floor has been conceded as well, as Jigsaw fell off that not long ago. So 4v4 with the execute, the freezer hatch gets opened up here by Surf, and these angles will start to get even tougher for Enterprise.
All of this utility by Rebellion has found a place on this map.
30
Very
seconds.
high value. You know Canadian likes his utility-based systems. Enterprise, hard to tell what their utility is doing right now because Shopify have been in pursuit of this for so
Nice.
long. Rexon probably shouldn't have won that engagement, but he does anyway. Back to a 3v3 we go. But dying moments of the round, Messology in front of our very eyes. Tuhon clearing out the server all on his lonesome. Jigsaw hoping for an opening. He will
Oh,
find
nice.
it to lose the duel.
Good job,
Brendo
Sport.
and Tuhon
Oh,
last
why
alive.
isn't
There's
nobody
Brendo to the
protecting him?
rescue. Surf won't get it done. A 4K from Tuhon. And a huge round as Enterprise ties things up.
Tuhon, just such strong anchor play, Parker. They can't seem to beat him in these gunfights, and that's so important when there's a little bit of a chaotic final push coming out from Shopify Rebellion. They got the top floor under their control. They even stopped the flank. It really wasn't the early game that was the issue. It was getting that execute in from bottom lobby. Canadian tried to get in, maybe try to get some kind of a plant going. Eventually, Spoit had to recover the kit and go for it himself. I thought Spoit played that really well, but in the end, you can only do so much when the trades are coming out from Enterprise. It was really nice defense coming out from the guys on EP. They tied this game 2-2 apiece.
I hate to keep saying it because nobody likes a broken record. You want
Yeah.
a wholly intact record. But guess what? Mid to late round for Enterprise, oh so good. And it's hard for people to gauge, is this because maybe Rebellion fall apart in the mid round? I don't think that's the case at all. We complimented Rebellion for how they were using their gadgetry. But what did Enterprise do? All of that ceiling above their heads taken out by the Ram boogie drones. Guess what? They reposition and they hold new angles. Enterprise respond to that. They'd set up Valk cams into positions where Rebellion only found them towards the end. Yeah, sure, Surf found one early on, but some of the intel really important for the mid-round. Enterprise's big struggle is matching up against the fragging power in the first bit of action.
Yeah.
If they can get past that, and again, of all of the rounds completed, Jesse, only 3 first bloods for Enterprise. If they can get past that, who knows what would have happened on map 1, and who knows what will be happening here on map 2.
And again, I'll say it again, Parker. The reason why this early game is so tough for EP is all of the information that Shopify Rebellion have. Even in that moment, right? Like, Tuhon was inside of Cafeteria. He was caught on that scan from Snake. If Canadian doesn't whiff those shots, then he dies, and that's probably another SR round. So it really has been difficulties countering these information operators. Ambi, Spoit, and Surf on the Snake, Deimos, Dokkaebi is such a devastating combination, and they will get to come through once again. It is a bit of a roam game, frankly, down here on the bottom floor at Bomb Site. Everybody on this mid floor, with the exception of Cairo. Top is clear. Ambi can confirm that with his scanner, but there's players on cargo stairs, there's players vending stairs, there's going to be a player in storage. There are so many other angles you've got to worry about. Bappin, here's the final in Cafeteria. If these players are isolated on the defense, it should be free pickings for SR on these intel ops.
Cafeteria. Do you know there's a kitchen on this map?
Really?
Yeah, there is. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Lots of good utility there. Just as Ambi doesn't really need his utility, he will once again rock that Solid Snake, holding Diffuse Kit, finds a way in. A refrain as old as time. Enterprise suffering through that first pick, but here's Tuhon to the rescue. Brendo, Bappin, all of these guys so good at belated trades to keep these numbers close. And frankly, Ambi has been the difference maker, walking in, getting the kill, but then immediately gets shut down. That gives Enterprise an opening as Tuhon is on a heater, finding his second on the Rexon. He'll lose some of the protection, finished off by Surf. Rebellion trying to keep as close as possible to Enterprise here, and still lots of tools to be used. Logic bombs all gone. Last death mark to go out. Rebellion are about to be flying blind in this final minute.
Yeah, but still the roamers have fallen off, so it's not the end of the world, Parker. Even if they don't have full information, this top floor is going to be clear. Tuhon has kept Enterprise alive in this game. They're feeling confident with their current position. Now you can start to work the vert a little bit. You lost Ambi and Rexon. There's really not a lot of soft breach there, so you didn't just bring a lot of soft breach in general. SR are going to have a bit of trouble working with these vert positions, but they've still got a little bit of time on their hands. 35 seconds. They're pressuring in towards EXO. This has to be where the plant comes down. They've got to be sharp to find these players out.
There go the smokes to isolate. Bappin trying to take advantage of that. He's caught in between both of them, and this could be quite the surprise for Rebellion. Canadian with Diffuse Kit still searching for his first kill, and you got to worry about a Nitro cell being tossed out. A lot of teams do, but guess what? We know there's no Nitro left. So they're predicting this as it will be a double swing. Nice coverage by Spoit. He's only good enough for one kill. Now it's Canadian to try to find his first frag with Surf with him, not too far removed. Canadian can't hit Bappin, so now it's all up to Surf. He sees them by the Diffuse Kit. Surf playing very patiently here, and he does not need to overcommit to this. That is the goal, Jesse. Out goes a flash. Gas canister will go to Obscure as well. Through the floor, a nice pick. Bappin with the clutch, and Enterprise will find their first lead of this series.
Massive frag, immediate response straight onto Surf Parker. It felt like they had that round in the palm of their hands, but Bappin, what a shot, sticks to the Sable and then gives himself a well played right after in the chat. That is how it's done from the young entry fragger on Enterprise. Beautiful stuff coming down in the late round. And again, that's kind of how you have to play when you're up against that triple Intel operator lineup coming through from SR. They still went for the roam. They still tried to commit to those early fights, but they just had the frag back. They kept things even. And then once you got to that execute, you said it, Parker. The intel had run out. The utility really wasn't there from SR. They had a couple of smokes, which allowed them to go for that plant. I actually think Cairo could have denied the plant. He had 2 Toxic Babes playing inside a site. There was a world where that doesn't even go down. But one way or another, they get the Diffuse Kit on the ground, and frankly, in that position, you gotta favor Surf. I don't think he did anything wrong. He played that as perfect as he could, but sometimes young gunners, they hit shots that you just can't even imagine. We talk about it with Ambi, we talk about it with Spoit, but don't count out Bappin, the young Australian who has been making a name for himself over the last couple of years. Hits a brilliant one on that round.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run here for Bappin and Tuhan. They're not usually the guys that are towards the top of the scoreboard, but they are making their presence felt. And while, again, they might not be your flashy fraggers, they are making up for Jigsaw and Brendo simply getting outmaneuvered by the Rebellion. Jigsaw and Brendo are great players, and they consistently rise to the occasion, but there is a time where your best gunners are simply not as good as your opponent's best gunners. So in that collision course, do you take Ambi over Jigsaw? So far, you'd be crazy not to. That leaves it all on the support and those auxiliary players. And Tuhan and Bappin have been terrors. That Rebellion on Cafe and now here on Nighthaven Labs, a lot of times just don't have an answer for.
Tuhan entered this game as the only player for Enterprise without a positive KD. Every other player was positive. Tuhan enters this matchup 41 and 44, so -3 coming into this game. He will far surpass that, of course, in this game, make up for it and go positive, but...
To your number, he is +1 right now.
Okay, so he's not made up for it.
He's not quite, but Cafe was really bad from a kills department for these guys.
Course.
So at the present time, across both maps, Tuhan is 14 and 13, but that's the best on Enterprise. Now, again, a lot of that really falls onto how detrimental Cafe was. Enterprise have almost matched their kill or their round total, and we've still got half the game to go. So again, passes the eye test, and the numbers back it up. Enterprise are getting more comfortable and settling in more. And this is also a map where maybe the Rebellion are a bit overexposed, Jesse.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, Tuhan playing this kind of aggressive position with Brendo a bit on this Rafters position. It's going to be Jigsaw who opens things up. There goes Ambi, the best young fragger on SR. So he gets removed, and it's a 5v4 lead for Enterprise. Playing this top floor for the second time here on Nighthaven Labs. Usually the primary site. They won it back in round 3, but now in round 6 they get a second opportunity, and it's looking just as good this time.
Yeah, I mean, Ambi usually gets a kill, dies immediately. That's been the way it goes. There's been a couple rounds where he's picked up a 2-piece. As you can see from his scoreline, he's not just getting traded out. And Ambi will shoulder some more of the team's responsibilities when he goes on to defense. Down goes Brendo, and Canadian knows there's somebody nearby because the tripwire keeps disappearing. So Spoit will walk up. The attention turns towards Canadian, a great distraction. That's why we say sometimes Canadian doesn't need to get that kill. We'll ignore some of the whiffs earlier in the first half, but Canadian, a huge part of why that works. Now he'll get Diffuse Kit down with Spoit watching over him. It's a 3v3 with Canadian immobilized for the time being, but will very quickly become a 4v3 as now Canadian is back up with that shield in hand. Down goes Surf to Cairo. Damage being done to Jigsaw. An all-out brawl inside the site.
Spoit just fire everything off?
Towards the Monty. Spoit out duel. Canadian finally on the board, and Jigsaw
fire it all
will
off and smoke it all off.
fish stairs.
You have 20 seconds, bro.
Freeze them out of a possible retreat. Surf not able to be recovered yet, but Rexon will get him right back up, and now it's a 3v1. But the mountain will be staring you down, and I mean, unless Jigsaw can move mountains, this one's
Nice.
going SR. Not exactly the result they wanted. A 3-3 first half for SR on their own map, but they will take that. Enterprise unable to amass a lead on the favorable side of Labs.
The winner.
Of course it's not.
Couldn't. I just hooked up.
Alright, guys. Let's just reset, okay? All we're doing now is fucking attacking, okay? What are we banning, Andres?
It's true.
Hey, Bennett.
They are
Okay, Bennett,
attacking.
guys, they're going to be spamming the Clash. The Clash is going to be
Okay.
super aggressive on IT. On top floor, we can either do our CS if they're playing the Clash. They will most likely ban Nomad, okay? And we need to make sure we're either focusing the Clash together. We could even go below Deimos and kill the Clash if she gets aggressive in IT, yeah? But let's make sure we're either doing the CS or we're killing the Clash, okay, for top floor.
Yep.
Mirror window on the IT breach. Let's just remember that, okay, hard
Yep.
breach players. And we might need a Zofia and play the CS strat, okay?
Okay.
On control, control Weibo is so free, okay? If we do it fast and together, it's really free, okay? But
Yep.
Jackson, I want you to go up from basement if we do it, okay?
fine.
They have no C4 from below, they just have an Ella playing site, okay? So we nade the util and we jump in, okay? On kitchen, let's do our clear, let's not do the rush, okay? We practiced the clear
Alright.
recently as well, okay? Docker biz.
They were trying to send a blitz in through the garage wall into storage, with Dokkaebi like lurking the mud side, basically holding rafter, and Thermite waiting on the window to jump. Zofia was just holding the IT breach. They were not able to get in the garage wall, so they rotated off, and they just basically tried to flip it to top, and they ended up bringing the bomb like cargo side with the Dokkaebi walking fish for that. The second time, then for basement, okay? The first basement, they sent a blitz to clear above. Doke was cargo window. Snake was 90. Buck went through fish like garage side and Thermite con. Basically, they just tried to clear. The second attack, they just tried to straight up wall rush where they had Glaz, Thatcher, and Blitz. And Ying went to storage window to like Ying the vert, and then the Habana went like mud. Go
When
ahead.
they did the con over.
Clearly anticipating a Nomad ban on the side of Enterprise, thinking there would be a lot of clash play from SR, but I guess not wanting to ban it out, thinking it's something they can counter and play around. It is Capitao Kaid instead. Capitao is certainly a strong ban for the clash play if that's the way you want to run it. You can't, again, really afford a clash ban with how many other good operators there are. Bandit Kaid likely removed, and here it is. Exactly predicted by Mag. So really good research coming into this. The Nomad typically played by Brendo. He'll have to swap over to a different operator here for this top floor and expect those clash plays to come out from Canadian. Go back to this fifth round. You talk about Canadian on a shield. I think this was his best round of the game so far, Parker. He just makes so much distraction for his teammates over towards top fish, as you said. And it really just does kind of come down to the positioning on the side of Enterprise, too. They were a little bit disconnected, caught with their pants down a bit with not enough players over on that west side, and because of it, they lose that sixth round and we're tied.
No closer to a conclusion than when we started. A reminder, the winner of this series goes on to the main stage. Shopify Rebellion, with all the money, all the weight, and all the expectations behind them, have actually never played in front of a crowd. So they are very much hoping to do that. No Australian team has played in front of a crowd in 6 years when it was that old roster.
Yeah, drink
with
prune
Mag
juice
on
so
it,
I
now
can
the coach
shit.
of Enterprise. Neither of these teams will go home. The loser will be competing tomorrow, but we can't say the same for the B stream. A reminder that there is a second stream running right now. Team Falcons are playing Ninjas in Pajamas, and over on the B
Ninjas in
stream,
Pajamas,
the
bro.
losers
Why is that the name?
go home. So, if Falcons lose, that's it. If Ninjas in Pajamas lose, spoiler alert, Los was eliminated in their matchup earlier today against Weibo Gaming. If NIP, who are currently at an 0-1 deficit, lose, 3 of the 4 Brazilian teams will go out and not make main stage, which is quite a juxtaposition to FaZe Clan, who were one of 2 teams to win 3-0. So,
You won
long
3-0?
considered the most competitive region, Brazil having some struggles here in North America.
Oh,
No
FaZe
guarantee that
didn't
NIP
lose?
will
I thought
ultimately
they
lose,
did.
but have to feel for Brazilian fans if they only have one team representing them on the main stage.
SR playing the same lineup they showed earlier in this tournament versus EDG. This is going to be this clash-focused strategy that Enterprise were expecting. They've got the Zofia, which can be a good clash counter at times. It's not the easiest operator to clear out the clash with. You're going to need a little bit of team coordination to be able to capitalize on the shield break, but it's absolutely doable with those concussion grenades that you can throw the way of Clash. Where's this push going to come from EP? It looks like it's going to be connector-sided focus. That's where Bappin is currently situated. Of course, IT is always a big focus as well. Tuhon got the wall open with really no issues, despite the fact that this mirror window was placed here, and there were impacts held by Canadian. He's not able to stop the wall from opening up, so this is going to be a nice little angle they have straight in towards IT, and it makes Spoit's life just a little bit more awkward. He's sitting at the top of Raptors, and Cairo's down here at the bottom trying to force him out of the position. He's got the DMR to keep a barricade, but it's a lot of work to do just to find Spoit out of this extended position.
You talked about Capitao being banned for the Clash, but Capitao also is a hard counter for this spot on Rafters.
Yeah.
So it helps Canadian in his position, but it also helps Spoit stay in that spot. If you pair it with a Wamai, or even dare say somebody get crazy enough to bring a Jaeger, it's really tough for you to deal with this Rafters position. And Enterprise are getting kind of bogged down here, Jesse. This is a very slow take. We have less than a minute in the round of all teams. Spoit is ready for that. Down goes Cairo, expecting another. They're all walking into Rebellion's bullets. Canadian dies to Tuhon, so they get the Clash.
He helps on.
That's all they've got so far. Rebellion in control with an advantage of 1. They're in IT.
Nice.
Close it up, but Spoit's tucked in. The Swede. Oh, how sweet it is. Bappin now in a 1v4. Rebellion wanting to take the lead, and Ambi will give it to them. A terrific defense to start off the second half.
Nice little triple from the Azami position, and again, you're right. Having a Nomad, having a Capitao would have been great to clear that out, but instead, what did they do? They just tried to jump in the window, Parker. You saw it from Cairo, just trying to catch Spoit off guard. I don't hate the attempt there, but it needed to be a little bit better, a little bit more coordinated. There had to be somebody else also pressuring at the same time, whether walking in that top Rafters door, whether it was pressuring in from IT. It was just a bit solo on the side of Enterprise, and they weren't able to clear out those power positions. It is top floor of Nighthaven Labs. You're not expecting to win that site as an attacking team. It's one to forget, but huge credit over towards Spoit. Hits double digits in this game and continues to lead the Salt Lake City Major in overall frags for the event.
And yet, Jesse.
And yet.
Rexon has the most kills deceptively in the series. We haven't really been saying his name that much, have we?
No.
Spoit, obviously a highlight reel player, tucked into the corner. That little rat spot goes undroned, but I mean, at that point in time, you don't have enough drones, you don't have enough time. He's going to make you pay. Rexon right now sitting at a very pretty 19 kills, and I will issue a correction. Now that the kills have finally come in, Spoit has leapt over him, and now has 20 kills. So 10 kills on both maps. Spoit with the highest EPS. Everybody on the Rebellion above Enterprise except for Canadian, which again is pretty much the case. So your fraggers are fragging. What more can you want?
Spoit, the first player in Salt Lake City to break 100 kills as well. Did it earlier in this map when he hit his second frag of Nighthaven Labs. He sits at 108.
That's insane.
Now total throughout the tournament. You mentioned it, he's played a lot of rounds, but even still, compared to his teammates, he is far and away the highest fragger on SR. So you have to give credit where it's due. Spoit has been fantastic this tournament. He's really been finding his old form again, and it's a big reason why Shopify Rebellion are just
we go in the playoffs.
Hard to say if he did it himself or again it's because of these role changes and putting him on more forward roles. But I mean, this is among the best SR has looked in a long time, and crazy that suddenly Spoit, able to do more than just sit and be a training dummy, is actually helping this team. So a good call either from Spoit or from the rest of the team, whether it be Canadian or the coaching staff on the Rebellion.
Or from the bullying that they got.
Look like a far more well-rounded squad with him in this position, and obviously they're 3 rounds away from their first berth on a stage in front of a crowd. Obviously things working out with that change.
Pressure in towards Cairo. He's trying to find space on this top floor. The bullets whiz both ways, and here comes the Clash. Canadian makes the rotate, and now it's just devastating to play on this Blackbeard position.
Hold on, but they got one more. Brendo, a mighty distraction. Say goodbye to Spoit. Rexon credited with the kill.
Nice.
And there's the swing. They're all playing together, arm in arm.
Everyone's playing
Rebellion,
together.
Just too many to overcome. Down goes Ambi. There's another on Fish Stairs. Case is there. Bappin is in desperate need of help, as he's got the shotgun and the Clash.
For this guy. Nice.
Bappin, of course, kills Canadian because why not? Canadian was in a position to potentially go for a fight there. And
this guy's just running
empty-handed, but who's to say? Who's to say?
Even when Canadian's getting his head blown off, he's enabling kills for his team.
Yeah, I mean, there were 2 kills that just happened there because of him. I think Canadian would easily trade himself out for his teammates to thrive. Start. with the kill. And another round for Rebellion
Just
as
running
they
around.
are
We doing a whole
demolishing
marathon or what,
Enterprise
bro?
in this best of 3, looking more like a best of 2, as we are 6 minutes away from Shopify Rebellion being the 4th team to make it to main stage.
It's the team play for me, Parker. It's not just that they're winning individual gunfights, but it really comes down to the trade game from SR. You saw it towards the top of Fish Stairs there. I mean, really, yes, Canadian is being a distraction on that clash. He's a huge menace, but it's not just Canadian. There's players pushing into the top floor, which are getting those frags. There was one that came up from the bottom of Fish Stairs as well. Every angle that Enterprise could have maybe worried about, they had to worry about because there was somebody else on SR getting aggressive and taking that fight. A lot of worse teams, a lot of younger teams who maybe not had the experience that SR have had
Man,
will sit in a spot on
wheelchair bitch.
defense and they'll say, this is my spot, I'm trying to defend this, and I'm going to do my best to make sure nobody takes this control away from me. That's fine. You know, that's not bad. But the way SR have been playing on these defenses is it's really reactive to where Enterprise want to push. They've initially had a lot of bodies over towards Raptors, over towards IT, over towards Electrical, but once they realized the pressure was coming Fish side, everybody sprinted in that direction, and they said, we've got to work with our captain Canadian, we've got to be able to collectively go for these frags and fight as a team, so that even when we lose a couple fights, even when one of our guys like Canadian gets fried on the first angle, Rexon or anyone else is there to back them up and to get that kill in response. Spoit, another good example, got kind of fried early in that round, but it didn't matter because Spoit is playing with his teammates and other players were able to get the refrag.
Yeah.
I haven't really been seeing
Playing
a lot
really
of
good as a
Scopos
team.
so
Scopos,
far,
there you
Jesse. By my count, this is only the 15th round that this operator has been brought out on. Very site dependent and very map dependent. Typically played on the big maps where you can stash one of your 2 robots in a position where they can give you information. A big map that we see it on quite often is Clubhouse. Another good map is Lair. What do they have in common? They are huge.
Yep.
So because of that, Nighthaven Labs is also deceptively large. You tuck one of those robots in the basement, you keep another closer to the bomb site. You don't have somebody on flank watch, they can easily get you. Just like they got Rexon. Brendo walks right in. Enterprise struggling to get on the board first. Not really much of a challenge here in round 9.
Yeah, the top floor clear has gone very well for them. It was kind of a light hold from SR, and you might be worried if you're an Enterprise fan because this is just not a bomb site that gets played much in Australia. I know EP played it earlier just today, a couple
so
minutes ago,
quick,
but
bro.
attacking, they don't have a whole lot of history
I don't know how
on
they
this
play so
bomb
quick.
site. So SR choosing to come here, a common site from them. They will play Canadian just in towards that bottom lobby, and now Spoit. He lost his second body, Parker. He lost that second robot to rotate into, but that doesn't mean he can't still flank. There should be a drone watching for this, but again, when there's 5 players alive, sometimes it can be really tough to not catch this timing.
And again, it's a big map. If you are so focused on a quick execute and you don't have flank drones up, and you look at the lineup from Enterprise, none of them have any ND
They caught
flank.
him.
There's no Claymore, nothing. They know where he is now. Yeah, he got spotted inside of Electrical. So the jig is up on Spoit, but guess what? He can always rotate. Again, he doesn't need to go for the backstab. And maybe that's not going to be the plan here. It's good when you are outnumbered because you can get 1 or 2. You're in a great spot. You've just swung the round back, but Enterprise are not going to let him do that.
Canadian somewhat by himself. Of course, got players inside the site. They've got head holes here as well to try to play off this clash shield. And Canadian just trusting the shield to watch his own back. He's staring front and center towards where these players might be jumping in. Here comes Cairo in the main
There's
lobby.
3 of them
Mark
on Canadian, bro.
just sitting ready for the swing.
And all he needs to do is just sit and wait. They obscure behind with the F-Naught by the Fenrir of Surf.
Nice.
There's Canadian to pop up. The jig is up. Now he's on a duel against Cairo. Canadian, oh my
missed,
goodness, a
bro.
blunder. He misses most of his shots, but he's far from the only problem. Everybody crumbles on the side of the Rebellion, and Enterprise have closed the gap to just a single round.
Okay, I know it didn't work, but that was kind of a crazy strat from Canadian because he was prone there in that position. You might be thinking, okay, well, he's really not checking his back. Like, surely they could just walk on him and frag him. But
Yeah.
remember, the bottom of the clash shield is not actually see-through. So he was kind of posting up as if he had left his shield there and rotated back in towards sight. I don't know how he would have got back there, but it wasn't obvious his exact position. And so he had a good opportunity to make something of it. Unfortunately, just not quite there with the gunplay. So it is Enterprise who close out that round, but still some cool ideas coming out from the Rebellion in that one. Gets 1 for his troubles. I guess really
He
the problem is
missed,
the rest of the team, right? They're kind of falling apart inside the site. It was an early death coming out there, I believe, from Rexon to start that round, and then Spoit just unsuccessful with that flank. It's so difficult when you're playing that scopeless and you lose your shield. One of the big reasons why that site's so weak is because flanking for the top floor is just so predictable. 1 drone inside of Electrical was all it took to stop that flank coming out from Spoit. huge credit over to Enterprise to be able to watch those drones, expect the flank to come through. They didn't get tripped up in the early game. They didn't get tripped up by the aggressive mid-game coming out from Spoy either, and eventually that site execute just came all together with what they needed.
Bomb located by attackers.
Our good friend Lynx just pinged me and said that Spoit has only ever played Scopos on that
5
site.
seconds left.
What?
Pretty much exclusively. And because of that, Enterprise surely must have read into it. Now, when we did that middle of the match timeout, Jesse, we didn't get to hear everything Mag said. There was the other half when Super was talking. Mag had a great read on the Clash. Super had a great read on them bringing a Dokkaebi. There's entirely a possibility that they talked about the Scopos as well. So they might have been prepared for that before even the round had loaded in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they droned it early too, right?
Yep.
It was just sitting just at the top of the hallway outside of meetings, so they were very much aware that that could be a threat, but it's a good answer, and certainly Lynx is correct so far this season. It's the only operator Spoit has ever played on that site, so that's a good stat coming through from our compadre on the casting desk.
Thank you, Lynx.
Thank you, Lynx.
Even though Lynx is off today and there is no desk here.
Well, sometimes we lie.
Lynx, all the desk we need.
Doing the work of
Want
two
them
casters,
playing
isn't
something
that right?
different.
I think Fresh is on his way here as a content creator. I'm assuming that Fox and Lax will be joining us at some point as well, but it's a good thing we've got Lynx here. Rebellion now not wanting to relinquish control of their lead. We gotta say it. One thing that always seems to plague this Rebellion team is the ability to close out matches. It was not much of a problem back on Cafe. But I do worry a little bit that we might end up with a third map, even with this scoreline being what it is.
I agree.
I'm not worried until they lose this round, Parker. They lose a tertiary site. It's Nighthaven Labs. You lost Kitchen. Fine. This is the bomb site that should be a freebie. This should be the one where you get yourselves up onto series points. If this doesn't go their way, then the alarms start ringing. I would expect attack time to come through from Super. But for now, this is all according to plan. Even throughout the rounds, they've given up very little space. Meeting control held by Enterprise, but that's totally fine. Canadian with that Clash still just playing inside a connector. He's got an important player behind him too. That's Rexon just inside of servers. Can try to support the Clash from behind the breach.
And Canadian's elbow might be shot off his body as look at all the damage that's
Nice.
being done. Canadian swings, down goes Bat, but he could have another as well. But he's funneling these kills on in.
What is
Suddenly
happening?
the kill feed turns blue, and Enterprise have slaughtered Rebellion.
What is happening?
Spoit will need to clutch. He won't get it done. Oh my goodness!
What's
Enterprise
happening? Why
tie the
didn't they just
game.
smack?
All right, now I'm worried. Now I'm starting to get concerned.
What are we
I
doing?
promised you I would be. And really, it just comes down to ignoring the Clash, Parker. They decided we're not going to be able to get past this player. We don't have a Nomad. We don't have a Capital. We don't have an Ace. That's fine. We're just going to go in through Electrical. They had Cairo on the Ying that was making so much good space to be able to jump in and take those fights over towards IT, over towards Electrical, and all the frags just went the way of Enterprise. Jigsaw, a massive double kill in the midst of that round, really started things off strong, and then the flurry of kills coming right after. It will be attack timeout from Enterprise after that round. I thought for sure it would be an SR attack, but instead it's EP, finding that despite the fact that they just tied things up 5-5, there are things to discuss, there are problems to fix. They know how important it is to close out these next couple attacking rounds. The bomb sites will begin to open up. Starting in this round, they will all be available for SR to choose from. So there's a lot to talk about if you're Mag, but the job is being done. I think his time must have been excellent so far here in Salt Lake City, his first major as a coach. And this is a big moment to prove his worth for the team now, 5-5 versus SR.
We got
I
it.
mean, you talked about getting film on this map for Enterprise, right? But Shopify Rebellion going all the way back to the Munich Major, and I think that's worth qualifying because they
Sure.
have not changed their roster.
Sure.
They played it 9 times for Shopify Rebellion. Fans of Ferris Bueller's Day Off will know 9 times. And they've won 6 of those, and their numbers are good. They have a positive attack win rate. They have a positive defender win rate. They are statistically better on attack than they are on defense. And they just won this game a couple days ago against Edward Gaming, 7-3. So yes, they are a very good team. But like I said, maybe a touch overexposed. With what we're hearing from Mag in particular, Enterprise are very diligent about their prep work. They know what to expect. Now, for an inexperienced team that's never played on a main stage, being able to execute on that information is the tricky part, but having that information isn't. So, if you know that Spoit is going to play Scopos on that bomb site every single time, if you know that they're going to position a Clash on fish stairs all the time, if you know that they're going to put a mute downstairs every single time near control room, then guess what? Your players are going to be well-versed because there's so much footage from SR. And again, SR struggles to close out these maps, and they just dropped 2
selling, bro.
consecutive
Come
rounds.
on.
I'm starting to get that same feeling we get when we cast SR.
And listen, Parker, if you're worried about the footage being your downfall, that means it's time to change things up. Canadian off the Clash for the first time this game, moves over to the smoke, wanting to play just inside of that top floor to support his teammates. Rexon will often play the smoke on this site. He's gone to the mute instead. Not a bad pivot at all. Just going to be playing at that C4 over on the A site. It is him and Surf, 2 of the longest standing members of this team, to try to lock down that bottom floor while the rest of SR try to lock down up above. There is a world where this ends up being a rush in through the window. I don't see it happening here, but Tuhon's got the defuse kit. I mean, they're waiting to breach this at the right moment. They get intel with the snake. Traditionally, you'd want to clear top floor first. IT has been opened up, so if they do go for a plant inside of storage, then they likely can deny the vert, but even still, lots of droning coming through and potential maybe to kind of close in on Spoit on the Azami.
They knew exactly where he was. They'll throw the grenade out, hoping for a swing on the window. No follow-up from down below.
What?
Spoit, oh my goodness, smited by the shield of Cairo. Enterprise with 2. Tuhon in danger, but this is a great entry from Enterprise. The timeout working wonders. Ambi the only one to get a kill so far as Tuhon gets the defuse, get to the halfway point. Nitro Cell goes out, it does not work. Cairo taking some damage, but this is an excellent position for Enterprise. This comeback, very real at this point. Ambi, a one-man band, all up against Enterprise. They've got him isolated. Brendo shuts the door. 3 in a row for Enterprise. They're on map point.
And the nerves start to set in. This is all falling apart for Shopify
are we
Rebellion.
doing?
Overtime is now
What are
their
we doing,
only
bro?
path to the
Stop
main
fucking
stage
banana right
other
now.
than that third map or tomorrow. What incredible Blackbeard play coming out from Cairo, Parker, the captain of Enterprise. If you didn't know, that bash can go through windows. It's long enough range, and Spoit
Lock
will find that
in.
out the hard way. Up at the top of Rafters, really good drones coming out there in the early game. Really good capitalization off of that information late. Here's that play. Again, that melee bash, such a long range that you've got on that utility, and then it really just comes down to the other frags around the map. Jigsaw over towards IT, was able to find Canadian. They got this garage control really nicely. With the snake coming through and the drones coming through, it was information that made the big difference. That's what gave Enterprise a leg up in that round. Didn't need to focus on the plant. Didn't need to cheese it with a Ying. They just had the intel. They won the fights. Shopify Rebellion, their last lifeline in regulation. They will go to the top floor. They will bring Canadian on the Clash for the 5th time this game. All of it relies on this one defense, and things haven't changed much for SR.
5 seconds to go.
You do worry here. You worry an awful lot, Jesse. I have no skin in this game. I think there's great storylines for both of these squads, and the loser will still have an attempt tomorrow to make their way to the main stage.
It's going to be an important game, of course, between these two teams, and I like the one adaptation we're really seeing on this defense, Parker. It's Rexon. He's jumped onto the Warden. That's going to be the operator that you need to be able to stop some of the Ying play that was being so powerful for Enterprise, but in response, the Ying doesn't get played. EP, that was their real utility that they used to try to get in through electrical and IT. Without that being on the board, what is their game plan? What is their path to success to try to make this space upward as the top floor? That's going to be my big question coming through this round.
But I am worried about Rebellion bouncing back here, Jesse, as I now finish my point. I'm a patient man.
Okay.
I'm a very patient
No.
man. This is a nice angle from Tuhon. This is going to be coming to a ranked game near you. I've seen it a few times, but on the A stream with 2 big orgs playing, you just know people are going to be copying it in for good reason. Wall opened up. Good scouting so far. Enterprise's drone work has been really sensational over the last couple rounds. It's something we haven't really highlighted that much, but the amount of information they're gaining, very impressive.
Down below, Bappin is going to be hunting for this Clash. Of course, Canadian. He's inside connector at the moment. He can kind of guide his movement based on where this Deimos comes through, where the tracks are. He'll get that info. Brendo on the buck down below too, but look at Ambi. He's lurking in the basement. This is the answer. There might be a response if they're ready for this, if they're watching for a flank to come up, but they need to stop this vert pressure as soon as possible, because as long as this exists, Canadian is not safe. It is up to Ambi to deny these vert players down below, Bappin and Brendo.
And he might find his opportunity now, wandering up.
Yes.
Sees the Deimos, that's one. Another turns in his direction. It's a glorified trade and a nice shot from Brendo. Tuhon also on the board. Tuhon has been the savior in this series. Now it's the Warden of Rexen coming in for the support against Canadian. Tuhon taking damage.
Nice.
Rexen walks away with that frag. Out goes the shield of Cairo. He's looking to live on
Nice.
borrowed time.
Nice.
Brendo
Let's
in
go.
a 1v3. Rebellion have managed to save
below, he's below you.
themselves for the time being. But can Brendo get to lucky number 13? If he does, Jesse. It's Enterprise moving us over to Fortress as the decider. He's got his work cut out for him.
They've got the diffuser electrical side too, Parker.
Doesn't have a lot of time, doesn't have much to work with. And the clash will be a real impediment here. Out goes the flashbang. Brendo tucked in. Nigh unwinnable
It's over.
for the Aussie,
Yeah, it's over.
especially with no information, but
Okay, good round.
toil as
Good
he
round. Good round.
might. Overtime on the menu. At least 2 rounds to settle this score. SR walked away with Enterprise's map, but it's been quite a struggle on their own.
So over for this guy.
They don't really need to do too much here.
It's
To
over for this
overtime
guy.
we go. Brendo finally taken out by Rexen. It was only a matter of time, and they will avert disaster
Good shit.
moments
Good shit.
beforehand. We're going OT for the first time in this series.
Really big round from Rex and Parker. He plays around that clash from Canadian so beautifully. Ends up being a triple kill with that Warden shotgun. And I was worried because, you know, they didn't bring the Ying. That was really the reason why Warden got brought on the board. But it's okay. Ying or not, that Warden can find success in those enclosed spaces. Playing around electrical, Rexen was really able to find the bulk of those frags. And when you have that Blackbeard versus the clash combo, it just becomes so awkward to find value. The game plan was clear from Enterprise. They were trying to work their way down below, apply pressure to the clash from the bottom floor, but Ambi was really the problem. The second Bappin dies, you lose that ability to get Vert in onto the clash. In theory, Brendo still could have applied that pressure, but there is a little bit of hard floor just inside of electrical that Canadian was playing around on this clash, so it becomes so difficult to actually get that frag. Really well played by Rexen and Troy. That is the duo that they needed most in round number 12, and it keeps them alive on Nighthaven.
Rexen once again having a terrific game. 3 players on Rebellion to break double digits. Only 2 over on Enterprise. Things spread out a little bit more evenly on that team. Jigsaw having a historically poor match so far, which is quite a surprise. But again, you go up against tough opponents. Jigsaw has been the MVP of a day here already, showing his might. That was back during Phase 1, but I think it is fair to say it's weaker competition in Phase 1.
For sure.
But both of these teams ultimately did qualify through the first phase. Enterprise doing so on the very first day, and it was a very efficient run for them. Rebellion, it took a little bit more time for them to fully rise. Let's put it that way. So we head into OT. Rebellion will defend once, potentially twice, depending on if we need all 15 rounds.
Well, they defended top floor 3 times, Parker, but they lost it once. They defended storage twice, but they lost it once. And they defended kitchen cafeteria once, but they lost it once. So
There's a kitchen on this map?
there's a kitchen on this map. Not where Shopify Rebellion want to go, though, because this time around, they will play the 4th site. They will go down to the bottom floor. They are keeping Enterprise on their toes. Keep in mind, as soon as we hit overtime, all bomb sites unlock, so SR could have gone anywhere, and they choose the one place where they have not gone before. It's going to keep things really awkward for Enterprise. They've got to really be able to identify this defensive setup in a jiffy. They've got to make sure they're bringing the right attacking operators. I like their lineup so far here. Tuhon on the Thermite, able to open up this wall. There's no real wall denial operators other than the Mute, and of course that is mostly just being used for the roam game, so that shouldn't be an issue for them. Minute 40 here on the clock. The roam game is alive and well from SR.
First Solus that we see from SR and first Echo that we see from SR too. So information, obviously the name of the game. Canadian on Echo, doing very well in the match that we saw just a couple days ago. Played on Layer, able to assist his teammates to get kills. But the thing is Canadian needs to survive. It was a bit of a struggle for him when he was playing the Pulse over on the earlier map of Cafe. As long as he can find himself in a very safe and sequestered part of this map, those yokai drones, all 3 of them, can be scattered about to either assist on the roam or down below. And there you go, picture in picture to show you where these are located. They'll lose 1, so good set of eyes on the blitz.
the ground has not really been taken. Parker, this is now 60 seconds on the clock. There are 10 players still alive in this lobby. SR control the roam game, but we're here in Exo from Cairo. Brendo will go down. Likely that's Ambi up on the top floor. Finishes off at Surf instead. 4v5 execute incoming.
Ambi and Cairo on a collision course now, both sustaining serious damage as Bappin is looking for somebody off site. There goes Ambi. He was on the ground, secured by the blitz of Cairo as he's going to look for an opening, but has to be concerned with what's above. Say goodbye to Jigsaw. Spoit's on the board. Diffuse kit was attempted, but will instead fall off. Yokai drone still up as well. Rebellion will be giving these calls, Canadian in particular. As Surf will look to break double digits and join everybody not named Canadian on this team. Cairo wanted to get that diffuse plan down about 20 seconds ago, Jesse, but he's not been able to find that comfort level. He'll trap Canadian in the corner. Spoit has the cross. Enterprise put together quite an impressive streak, but it sure seems like Rebellion will move to series point unless Bappin can find something. He downs Rexon, but that's all she wrote. Rebellion move to series point, 1 round away from sealing the deal on their map.
Parker, 7 rounds ago, we got to listen into these two coaches, and we heard just how much good prep work had been done by Enterprise. They expected every move from the Rebellion. They knew about the Clash. They knew about the top floor site. They knew about the mid-floor sites as well, but that basement is something that SR had been holding onto, and I think choosing that bomb site is really what won it for Shopify Rebellion. I mean, that was not a good attack from Enterprise. We have to say it. They had very little map control. They hadn't dealt with the roamers. They lost a really scrappy body up towards the top floor, and usually when you go for that direct-to-site exo hit, you've got control at least of storage up above, because that is the one spot that could deny your plant. Rexon was there the whole time. The map control was so weak on the side of Enterprise, and I truly think that it was just a scrambly attack because they didn't think that would be the site. They didn't expect that one to come through from SR, and because they hadn't practiced on it through the last 6 rounds up against the Rebellion, it just overwhelmed them a little bit, and SR have managed to get themselves another match point in what looked like a hopeless map.
Yeah, I mean, concern was here if they can shake off the I don't know what you want to call it, but if they can shake off the bad vibes when they get into these favorable spots, aka match point, this team really can flourish. I mean, there was a period of time where it didn't even look like Shopify Rebellion would make it during kickoff. Here they are, and then after that Falcons matchup in the very first phase, people were wondering, are they even going to make it past the play-ins? They have, and they've looked pretty good so far. They haven't been flawless, which is why they're in this position, but dropping a single series en route to a main stage appearance is the highest result that this team and this organization will have seen. It's been a long time since some of these players have played on a stage. So shake off any concerning bad vibes, anything like that, and dial yourself in. You've got 2 opportunities to get this job done. And the good news is that historically, over those 9 times that we've seen Rebellion play this map, they're statistically much better on attack.
You know there's a kitchen on this site, Parker. What? It's going to be our potentially final bomb site. And the last time Enterprise chose to defend here, it was Tuhon with 4 kills that was able to lock things down from inside the site. Shopify Rebellion will bring a very similar intel-focused lineup. You've got Ambi on the Snake, Canadian here this time on the Twitch drone. It was Dokkaebi last time, which he unfortunately wasn't able to hit the shots with. Now he's got a bit of a simpler gun. The DMR in his hands. They've dealt early damage to Bappin. That was right when the round began, over towards the top lobby door. So that's going to be a bit of information, a bit of
just one more round,
damage they can try to work
just need
with.
one more round.
Couple of runouts as well that we've seen. Tuhon earlier on in this round, and now Brendo too, getting a little bit spotted by that Snake. Slow and steady so far from SR, but the chaos is about to begin.
Fire going off as Bappin has taken some damage, but that's really all that we can see right now. A lot of drones, a lot of intel that's being done by Rebellion as they ultimately tied that first half. No team better on their respective halves. 3 threes across the board. There goes Ambi to Jigsaw.
Nice.
Bappin dies. Not much longer for this Earth. Canadian finds a rare kill onto Cairo, and suddenly Rebellion have a numbers advantage with a bit more than a minute to go.
It's exactly what they needed. Canadian with the DMR is able to hit his shots this time around, so it's a 3v4 favoring the Rebellion. They don't have a whole lot of site control, but they've got control up above. They've got lobby control under their hands as well. Enterprise mostly playing around Lounge at the moment. They're quite far removed from the bomb site. It opens the opportunity for a plant from SR, but is it just a trap? There's Gersmoth being held by Tuhon. There's impacts. There's Nitrocells. This is not free for a plant, and Tuhon himself is even still inside of a site.
He'll slow peek the window, hoping for something. You won't find it, just out of reach of those players above. You have top floor control, that's fine, but you've got to translate that to the bomb site. Rebellion need to hurry because clock management is a real consideration. And there you go. First smoke will go off. Another call is Surf will smoke a different direction. I don't know if that was a course correction.
Nice,
Spoit takes down
boy.
Jigsaw. Only 2 remain for Enterprise. This has been a valiant effort from the team
Pump,
all
pump,
the way
pump,
down
pump.
under. Can they pull this one off? Diffuse kit going down. They will scramble
Good
to
shit,
regain
good
the
shit,
site.
good
Tuhan
shit.
and Brendo have been sensational.
It's over.
Tuhan
It's over
in
for them.
particular, but it
Let's
just
go.
might be too much for them to muster. Tuhan on the board. He himself has carried the weight for this team.
Come on, come
but
on,
it
come
might
on.
be a bit too much for him to lift. Rebellion failed in regular time. We
Going
go
to stadium.
into overtime, and they are in full control as Tuhan and Rexon will come to words. Rebellion moments away from a berth on the main stage. Only one player stands between them, and he won't have any success.
They're going to main stage.
Shopify Rebellion win 2-0.
Let's go.
And an NA team will be seen in front of the Salt Lake City crowd.
Let's go.
Relief on the faces of the blue
going
and
there.
green, but they have done what they came
Let's
to
go.
do. They made it through the kickoff inside of North
shit,
America.
good shit.
They made it through phase 1, and now phase 2 is behind them. They're headed to top 8. They're headed to the main stage, and what a game it was. 8-6 on this final map of Nighthaven Labs. They had to adapt constantly throughout this series, Parker, but in the end, the better team came out on top, and Shopify Rebellion were that team.
A lot of fans for this organization, big name players, and yet their fans have never been able to cheer them on in person. That ends in just a couple days, and North America will have something to cheer for. There could be more NA teams joining them later today and tomorrow, but for now,
Fine. They put
revel
out
in
a
it,
good
fans
match. They
of
put out a good
SR.
match.
It's been a long winter,
Great
but
match, great
spring has arrived.
They're really
And for
good,
the
they're very good.
Enterprise fans, it's been 6 years, but they'll get one more opportunity
locked in at the last
tomorrow. Of
second.
course, 6 years in a day doesn't change that much in the grand scope of things. They will have another opportunity, but this one's
Let's
got
go.
to sting. We talked about them earlier in the day, Parker. We got the chance to chat with Mag, and he thought this was their best opportunity to make it to the main stage. He thought they matched up really well against SR, but unfortunately the confidence wasn't enough, and they lost it today.
Well, we've got to send one more team to the main stage. Who will it be? Sit tight. We'll find out after the break.
Good shit. 14-7, 13-10. Jesus. Let's go, Sport 1, bro. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. I'm going. I'm going to the major. I'm going to the major. Let's go. I'm going. I don't care. We going to the major, bro. We going. Drawing my hair. I don't know, but my mouth's starting to hurt. I think I'm gonna just stop it there and stream tomorrow. But that's it. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Sport 1. Let's go.